antinatalist stuff. You know, it's the day after the nuclear war kind of movie. It was like the first day after kind of movie ever made. You know, where there'd been nuclear war and there's a few survivors, and the people, Australians are survivors, right? So it was done in us from this Australia because they were the only ones left. But they were all dying of radiation sickness, which is totally appropriate. But anyway, it's really a great, you know, Gregory Peck, really good actors, but you know, one of the most depressing fucking movies you'll ever watch. It's just bleak and, you know, there's just nothing. It's just, fuck.
What's it called?
Yeah, I mean, On the Beach. Yeah, you'll love it. I mean, it has that. What's that song? What's that Australian song? Maybe old fan will remember. I can't remember the name of the stupid song. It's some sort of Bingo Berry Australian song, and it's great because they play it through the whole damn thing. But it's great because it just fits it perfectly. Waltzing Matilda, yeah. So all this in Australian lingo, they're all singing Waltzing Matilda through the whole fucking movie, and it's just so funny. Oh, Billabong, okay. Yeah, well, whatever. It was Finger Bonger or something. I remember all that. I remember that part of it. It was just so depressing. So, anyway. But yeah, it's a great movie. But everything else sucked. I was really surprised. Yeah. So I ended up watching some old movies that I knew were reliable. Yeah, well, that's the whole point I was making. It's an old movie. Point is, it was made when I was born, the year I was born. Speaking of bad comedies that I thought would be a lot better, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What a hunk of shit. I mean, I was just stunned. I'm saying, man, they couldn't have fucked that up anymore, and they fucked that up. I mean, the only good joke
You
is
can tell that just by watching the previews.
the whale is kind of funny, right? The whale falling, and now that was kind of funny, okay? But yeah, the rest of the fucking movie is just a big steaming turd. And you know, it just surprised you because that was like a long running freaking show. You think they would have had a couple of good jokes from the show, right? There was a TV show on British TV for years, wasn't it? I mean, couldn't they wasn't there a couple of good jokes on the show? But I mean, to have nothing, I mean, it was just nothing. In the plot, that just, talk about plot flaws. Holy shit. Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, so anyway. What else? I don't think I can't remember any of the others, but, yeah, I've really just been wallowing in self-pity and watching movies. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna go see Math Fails. Wow. Yeah, he looked pretty good the last video I saw him in, so I guess he's doing okay. Found somebody to take care of him. What's he in Hawaii for? Any real reason or anything, or just vacationing? Wow, moving. Ew. Well, I mean, you know, you gotta have a job and stuff to live in Hawaii, I would imagine. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He's, you know, he had to find somebody to take care of him, so he did. She looks kind of tough. The strong type. She's got the tattoos and... So, yeah, she can probably take care of business. Of course, they'll just spend the whole time talking about me, which is totally appropriate, right? I bet you they'll spend the whole day talking about Inmendham. He's the only interesting subject, right? Yeah, well, Piero. She's... I don't think he can make a video. I don't even know what he's been doing lately. He's just been drawing pictures, and his videos are totally incomprehensible. Here, I just do sign language now, until you're very confused. I can't even follow this. But whatever. Cool. Corn maze. Ooh, cool. I had a dream that I had two penises last night, and they molded together. They blended into each other and folded into one massive penis. It was really quite amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's not a joke. I actually had the dream. And I was like, after I woke up, I was like, ah, that was so cool. I gotta make the movie. It was so cool. Oh, if you could only, you know, you had to experience it from the inside, though. You really had to know it from the, oh, yeah, it made total sense when I was having the dream. And I know now, 24 hours later, okay, yeah, it's got some plot flaws, but it was pretty cool while it was happening. I mean, I really felt like I was singularity or something. It was all that. I was having that whole singularity moment thing, and I was just totally like, whoa, this totally makes sense. So it was pretty good. Yeah, Neo did that. I don't remember Neo doing that, but I did watch. I watched one of the Matrix movies. I can't remember which one. I guess the middle one. Yeah, it was the stupid one. Yes, I do have many things. Many, many things. Well, fuck you. I don't know what a Trevor is, but whatever. Later, maybe. I don't know what that means either, but okay. Yeah, I actually had I had the Do Not God channel. Yeah, that's the one I miss. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the Matrix does get awful convoluted, doesn't it? Oh, I look like Trevor again. Amazing. I don't know who Trevor is. Jeez. Well, it doesn't mean anything to me. Yep, still missing. Oh, I forgot to turn the MP. Oh, I did turn the MP3 on. I even forgot I could put the MP3 on. I didn't have a drink. That's what I didn't do. Knew I was missing something. Yeah, there's math fails. Yay! Puro leaves and math fail shows up. That's funny. Yeah, I think it's funny. It's kind of funny, right? Math fail shows up after Puro leaves. Yeah. So I hear you're a Hawaiian. Yes, interesting. Living the good life with the tattooed lady. You have to write a song. Me and my tattooed lady, we live in Hawaii and such. Ha 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 ha, fuck you. You're all losers, I win. I'm gonna go sit in my hammock now, and such. The good thing about Hawaii, I don't like Hawaii much because it's too windy, but the good thing about wind is it blows all the mosquitoes away. You don't think so? Well, who do you think they are if they're not Puro and Math Fails? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Who could they possibly be? Big Brother? Google? Maybe it's Google disguised as Math Fails? Yeah, maybe that's it. It's just been atrocious. I actually have to fix a couple of water pipes in the house next door because they froze and shit and exploded and made a mess. So anyways, it's very annoying. But yeah, I know you in Australia, you're all on fire over there. It's very hot. Well, you will be on fire soon.
Nothing aircon can't fix, or the beach.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if air conditioners do much for smoke inhalation, but good luck with that. Yeah, Chicago must be even worse than here. Yeah, must be. There must be some nice skating on the lake and such. Well, the snow probably ruins that. I guess they could just plow some snow and then they could just pour water on it. It'd be all nice, pure ice that way. But it's probably too cold and windy to ice skate anyway. I used to like ice skating when I was a kid. It's actually pretty good at it. You know, for somebody who only ice skated 2 weeks out of the year, I was a pretty good ice skater. A rocket board. Oh, a rock board. I don't know what that is. Rock board. It's kind of a hard concept, you know, rock board. What the hell do you do with that? Rock board. Ugh, I can't read that light greeny orange crap. Cold here in Oregon. My town had one snowstorm and all the duck ponds are still frozen. No. Yes, I should have been a figure skater, it's true. Yeah, it would be pretty funny. Oh, yeah. Be hilarious.
On the environment, what do you think of carbon taxes and all that sort of stuff, Gary?
Well, I suppose I'm basically opposed to them unless you use the money, for some sort of constructive policy changes or something, or infrastructure changes. You really do have to direct it or something. But I mean, I'm really not. Taxes. Consumption taxes are always prohibitively, negative in their impact on the poor and all that kind of stuff. It's too much. It's too regressive. So I just say tax the fucking rich. If something's broken, find a rich guy, stick a gun to his head, says, "Give us the fucking money, you dumb fuck. You got plenty." So I guess I would.
What about because what we've done here is, they brought in a carbon tax, but basically to combat the regressiveness of it, lower income people have got a lot more tax breaks.
Yeah, well, I guess you have to do that. I mean, I guess if you build the system right, it's sort of a win-win in a way, because a lot of poor people don't bother filing tax returns and all that stuff. So you could encourage them to file tax returns if they're going to get a rebate, on consumption taxes. So in my opinion, it's sort of a good idea to get people into the system to create some sort of rebate system. So in that sense, I'm not opposed to it. So. Yeah, and in a way, you could protect everybody making less than 30 grand. You could basically make the tax irrelevant to them. You know what I mean? Like, not punitive. And just nail the people that can afford to pay it, which is probably a good idea. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, I'm for encouraging people to do the right thing. So instead of taxing the wrong thing, I guess I would subsidize the right thing. You know what I mean? So, I would make it cheaper to buy the electric car, or cheaper to, that kind of, I would try to find the carrot way to do it rather than the tax way to do it.
You probably need both, but yeah, I mean, here now they've raised the tax threshold from 6 grand to 20,000, so poor people don't cop it.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a lot of money. But over in a lot of those other countries, you fuel a lot of your social services based on consumption taxes. I mean, you have those fat taxes and stuff, right? I don't know what Australia does, but most of Europe goes with a VAT tax, to pay for the medical care and all that kind of shit. And I don't really go for that at all.
It's called goods and services tax here. It's a lot lower than Europe. It's only 10%. Most of Europe's 20%, I think.
Yeah, I think it just creates a real incentive for an underground economy to start springing up. Why create black markets and all that crap? Yeah, well, taxation isn't immoral, you retard. You're too fucking stupid. Well, I inherited lots of money, so why you people complain about having a society and everything? You don't need a society. I have lots of money. You don't. Too bad. Ha ha. Fuck you. Yeah, that's some attitude you got, cunt. I bet you never worked a day in your life, you fucking asshole. Taxation's immoral. Oh yeah, government shouldn't protect workers from getting killed on the job. They shouldn't make us owners do anything responsible. No, we own for a good reason. My daddy gave it to me. I earned it. Daddy liked me. Fuck you! Repeatedly until thoroughly and completely dead! Yeah, explain what? How you didn't earn it, you cunt weasel.
Gary, the rational way to do it is for you to acquire something.
I'll be glad to kick you with him. Goodbye. What an asshole. He's going to sit there and follow up on that. Jeez. What, I mean, well, the rational thing is that, oh no, fuck you. Another inheritance spawn cunt piece of turd. He's fucking got anybody who would inherit it. If you inherited money and you open your fucking mouth with any kind of political opinion whatsoever, they should shoot you fucking dead. All right? If you inherited the money, shut the fuck up. Just be damn happy you got a free ride. Live on your free fucking ride, but keep your fucking mouth shut. I mean, if I was world emperor, the first people I would squish with Darth Vader fucking, I'm gonna crush your fucking neck till your fucking head pops off kind of authority are motherfuckers who didn't work a day in their fucking life telling other people what they should fucking do. Fuck them. To the bowels of the fucking earth. Yeah, drill fucking wells. We should drill wells just to shove the inheritance wealthy in. Just shove them in the hole. Just keep plump, 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 plump. Let's make oil out of them. Let's shove them in the ground until they become fucking oil.
At least it'd be useful then.
Exactly. Ugh, fucking libertarians. Just an acronym for lazy motherfucker who never did a day's work in their life. Oh. I believe I won that argument. No, anyway, man, it's really not that hot in here, but I'm hot. I'm dying of something.
Hey Gary, how you doing?
I never had a smoker's cough in my life. Once until I quit smoking, I end up with a fucking lung infection.
Shit, yeah. My parents just got done being sick, actually. What a...
Yeah, Norwegian guy, I was just joking. He doesn't really work for the CIA. He actually works for some sort of UN CIA. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, I don't think we have CIA in Norway, to
Yeah,
be honest. I'm sure we have something, but not CIA.
everybody's got something.
Yeah.
Mob of enforcers. God damn, way too hot.
Yeah, and the police isn't a lot better in Norway than in the US. I get the impression I was stopped just waiting in a car. The police came and harassed me, and I had to exit the vehicle, and they had to search my vehicle and this and that. So for no reason whatsoever, just because I look like a bum, I guess. So.
Yeah, well, it's getting like that everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, there's a lot of feedback. I guess it's just the closeness of the speaker to the microphone on the device you're using. Maybe you need to use like ear plugs or something in future.
Yeah, put in headphones.
Yeah, well,
I think I have some headphones. I'll put them on right now then.
Yeah, because that would fix the problem.
Yeah. Just 2 seconds. I'll plug it in here.
You could mute it while you're doing that. Probably make a lot of
Yeah.
noise. Alright, let's see if it's better. Yeah, it's better. Anyway, where were we?
Gary, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the idea of like being able to focus on, you know, like these hard realities. Because I found with myself that if I'm preoccupied in some, you know, societal whatever it is, or if I'm with some friends having a good time, there can be times where it's almost impossible for me to really, you know, focus on the nature of things. But then at other times, you know, it's all I think about. Do you go through those same like cycles where at times it's more apparent than others?
Well, obviously, I go through mood shifts, you know. So there's some weeks that are easier than other weeks, or where you're focused on things and all that kind of crap. So I guess it does moderate from week to week and month to month and even year to year, like anybody else. Um, yeah, how well distractions work, it's a little tricky. I mean, sometimes people distract you, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're just totally irritated because you're, talking to assholes that mean nothing to you. In some respect, your brain is on a much higher plane or a different plane, and here they are caught up in this little mundane real life shit, and you're just like, who the fuck cares?
Right, right. So I think in order to like properly fight that metaphorical war, you'd have to the goal would be to put people into that state where they're not comforted, and then they'd have to like reflect on these realities, I think.
I don't know. I just don't. I guess I'd first argue that people do reflect on them. They just end up running away from, the serious answers and just go with some kind of simple story because it's easier. But I don't think they can avoid reflecting on them to some extent. I just don't think they want to deal with the truth. I suppose they're never forced to, which is part of the irritating part, right? I mean, people are always provide the option of just saying, oh, that subject doesn't interest me, so they can kind of avoid having to get into any kind of philosophical, deep thinking kind of conversation. And they'll even mock it, they'll kind of, it's almost like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. It's sort of just mocking deep thinking. Just, this whole idea of don't panic, it's a subtle Big Brother-ish kind of message, Oh, don't panic? What do you mean I shouldn't panic? Oh, zillions of presentient creatures are being horribly tortured every day, and I shouldn't panic. Oh, okay, I won't panic. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, I mean, there's a subtle, Big Brother-esque, everything's going to be all right, silver lining crap about this whole stoic, satiristic, anti-Kantavadish response to ludicrousy. They'll admit life is ludicrous, and they'll just say, oh, let's all have a good laugh, and then fart out a few babies. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, oh, yeah, life is preposterous. Let's just make it more preposterous. I mean, that's just preposterous. I mean, come on. Let's make it worse is not the proper answer to the problem.
Right. So getting back to my original point, and when you said, they get distracted or whatever, you'd have to prevent the distractions and force them into thinking about, so they aren't comforted. So the whole thing about, oh, well, let's just do this and have fun, that's not a possibility. I think that's the only way to get these people forced into constantly dwelling on these harsh realities to the point where they just say, all right, enough's enough. This is terrible.
Well, again, I'm just going to argue that, yeah, I don't think the story is that complicated, so it's not like it's hard to understand that it's just that people have this fundamental resistance and they have a comfort in running away from it. The comfort is the status quo cliche human response, which is, maybe you're wrong. Maybe there is a God, or whatever the bullshit is. So they just don't, they'll agree to some extent. Like I said, you can sort of see it in a lot of these, a lot of this human entertainment does involve some aspect of recognizing the pain in life and the suffering and the futility and the loss and all that kind of stuff, and yet they somehow always turn that into some sort of happy ending. Somehow they always write a happily ever after on everything somehow. And that's the part that's just such a lie.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is then you have to take that happily ever after away. It would have to be like physical torture, I think, to get these people. I mean, this is all theoretical, obviously, but I think it would have to be like physical torture where these people are just inflicted with physical pain.
think that's just nonsense. I don't think it takes any of that. I just think it takes the fact that they can't rely on the comforting majority. So once you take the majority away from them, they will fall into line. People are sheeple. I mean, it's a sad truth. I would have fought the idea of that statement years ago, just to protect myself from, the accusation of it. But I suppose in some ways I had periods in my life where I was a sheeple. But people are sheeple. I mean, they will sit in the
Yeah, I
comfort.
used to be a total sheeple back before I started watching YouTube videos, and especially Gary. I always had a feeling that something wasn't quite right, but I couldn't articulate it very well. So I helped a lot to verify it for me to watch all of these videos.
Yeah, well, that's sort of the game. Is you have to step beyond the comforting responses, which are always these, especially for guys, it's always this response that, oh no, there's a way, there's a, blah 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 blah, the stoic
Yeah,
crap.
yeah. I used to be a total whore to just for it. I used to collect games and all kinds of crap like that. I was just totally preoccupied with collecting video games and all kinds of crap. And so I didn't have any serious thoughts about, life and all of this. These have
Yeah,
changed quite a bit over the years.
so that's all it takes, though, is that you have to just push people out of that, where they can, use these easy shields, of majority. The majority agrees with me that we're doing the right thing, or I mean, I'm with them. Us strong
Yeah,
people don't take your bullshit. You're just a naysayer. You're just a depressed person, and so they use these shields to just run away from the truth. They aren't challenged by it. So I'm just saying, as soon as they're in a minority, though, they'll turn into little girls. They'll they'll just
yeah.
say, okay, okay, I get you, because yeah, everybody knows I'm an idiot. Okay, I get it. You're right, I am.
Right,
And
I
one
agree
thing
with
I've
that.
never understood is why people even want to have children. To me, it seems like just such a huge hassle and such a responsibility. I could never imagine having a child. It's kind of the worst nightmare I could. Yeah. So so are you there or did you freeze?
No.
Okay, because your picture is frozen. But okay.
Life is tough for some people, so you have to deal with it.
Yeah, I'll just leave and re-enter. I guess maybe I'll be more animated then.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing that much that's all that interesting, so I don't think I'd let it bother you too much.
Yeah then.
What you gotta do is you gotta turn off his camera and then turn it back on. You just click on his picture.
Well,
And it should unfreeze.
I'm using an iPad, so I guess the application here isn't.
Oh, well,
Oh
I don't
no,
know about
now it's
that.
moving again actually. So yeah,
Yeah, maybe you just gotta hit.
smoking an e-cigarette is that what you're? Was
Yeah,
it a
just
real
for.
cigarette?
No, it's the e-cigarette.
All right, but Gary, I guess getting back to what I was asking is then what is the way to get these people away from the majority? That
Well, I'm just saying that that's the kid. Obviously, you can't get them away from the majority. You have to make them a majority. So you have to just incrementally work your way up to being a majority. So, but yeah, so how do you do that throughout history is always the challenge, right? Winning over the people. So obviously you don't do it the way I'm doing it, but that's not working. Um, but that's part of the reason why I've been watching.
I'm actually planning to send you a few packs of cigarettes, but not that many though, because they're 20 bucks a pack here. So
Yeah. Well, like I said, I told you I don't think you should bother, but it's okay. It's a nice thought and all that
no,
shit.
no. I feel like doing it, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, but one pack for $20, and Gary's gonna smoke it in like 2 hours.
No, 5 hours.
Well, it's worth it
All right, so
though.
Gary, as you were saying,
It's so much better than those crappy e-cigarettes. So I think it's worth it.
That's for sure.
I used
All
to
the
smoke
real
an
cigarette
e-cigarette
before that
myself, but
anyway.
I didn't like it. It kind of smelled like perfume or something. I don't know. I didn't like the taste of it at all. So, but I guess it
Yeah, you can
depends
get.
on what cartridges you use or something.
Yeah, that's why I kind of mod my own. I just use the atomizer and I just buy the nicotine pure,
Yeah.
purest I can. Mix my own.
Didn't
Um,
didn't
but
you mix some alcohol in there as well or something like that? I seem to remember you put
yeah,
bourbon or something in there.
you can put a lot of shit in there. Um, yeah, I actually had some good stuff. It was some sort of crap you use for muscle aches. That stuff was really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this
And
new stuff I got.
also,
I think.
and on the packs of cigarettes we have here, we have these large pictures of completely rotten lungs and, to scare people off.
Yeah, well, they ought to put those like the picture of like cancerous colons on Twinkies. That seems fair, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Wait a minute, maybe I can find a pack of cigarettes. So,
so Gary, as you were saying before, obviously the way you're doing it isn't working. I know you don't have an answer. I don't have an answer, but um, I think that the key would be to put more people into situations of discomfort because, as I said before, that's when I'm able to really, or take the comfort away. That's when I'm able to really reflect on it, right? Because I'm not busy wondering about my new pair of shoes.
People are already
yeah,
discomforted.
there you can see some guy in a hospital bed, on the cigarette pack.
Wow.
People are
Yeah.
already uncomfortable enough, and
And on the other side it says, smoking kills in huge letters.
Well, that's not gonna make me stop smoking at all, you know.
No, of course not.
yeah, well, it's all just irrelevant. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, they can, I don't care whether they want to put any kind of pictures they want on a cigarette pack. Who cares? To go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't
Pretty
care.
much.
I don't think it helps at all with anyone. If you smoke regardless of whatever crap they put on the pack.
The propaganda, okay, so yeah, that's all it is. It's just part of the propaganda. So they have to be able to make it. They have to justify the taxes. The only way they can justify the taxes is to make the evil
Yeah, and
that
the
evil.
taxes in Norway are completely insane. They're just, uh, I mean, a pack of cigarettes can cost more than like maybe $1 or something to make, but here they're like $20. So I have no idea how much it make. I don't really know how much it costs to make a pack of cigarettes, but it can't be anywhere near $20.
Yeah, it's more like 22 cents, but regardless, whatever.
Yeah.
No point in talking about cigarette taxation because
Nah, nah,
the people in
nah.
the room already understand that, and you can't get to the people who don't. So.
Gary, can you finish your thought from before?
Yeah, well, the argument is that what changes who people are, okay? And so I'm just going to argue that all you're talking, like I said, the philosophy isn't that complicated, isn't that hard to figure out. So most people are on some sort of drug or alcohol or something to get through the day. So you can't really make the argument that people are defending life because they're deliriously happy. They're not deliriously happy. Um, they're defending life because that's what they think they're supposed to do. And so you just have to give them a better story to tell themselves to understand the
I,
message.
I'm on tramadol personally, painkiller, but it's also quite an effective antidepressant. Sure, if you've heard of it, Ultram, I think it's called in the U.S.
I like that idea of a better story. Because that is, you're right. Yeah. That's tough though.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's not that complicated. You just got to take the little American flag and the stoic nonsense out of their brain and just get them to the realization that, wait a minute, this is Frankenstein movie. This is just, a horrible, tragic accident. And, there's just no point in reliving the same tragedies over and over again. Replaying Romeo and Juliet for 4 millions, 200 millions, 10 millions, trillions, zillions, zillion, billionth time. There's no point. We've done life, and there's nothing else to do with it. It's just a chasing game. Let it go.
Let's say that the task that was at hand was to get, there was just one person, Joe, down the street. You had to get him to, stop following all the bullshit. That's just one person. What would the method that you would take to do that for him?
Well, look, if it's just one person, you tie him into a chair and you beat him with a hose. I mean, it's not that,
Well, that's what I was saying before. That's exactly what I was saying before, where I think you'd have to do is get these people in an extreme case of discomfort.
Well, I'm just saying it's not an extreme case of discomfort. It's just that they have to listen for 3 hours or 4 hours. I'm just saying you have their attention, okay, their undivided attention. So you can make the argument and force them to deal with it, and force them to answer your questions. And once you do that, once you show them themselves, once you show them how clueless they are, then you've won.
Yeah, but Joe would probably just, when you untie him, he'd just run down the street and,
I bet he wouldn't.
You don't think you would? Okay, that's interesting.
No, I'm saying if you give me 4 hours to reprogram somebody, I'll tell you I can do it. 4 hours I can reprogram a human being.
Actually, I was quite surprised. I was talking with my parents the other day, and since I'm gradually losing my vision, I told them that when and if I go totally blind, that I would kill myself, and they actually accepted it. So I would never expect that they would accept me killing myself, but I guess they realize how horrible it is to be blind. So
Yeah.
they didn't like it, but they said they would fully understand it if I went through with it. So I was quite surprised by that. It kind of makes it easier for me, to know that they would understand it at least. So I feel a little bit less guilty for having told them and not just do it without them knowing, like a total shock for them. So
I never felt that much apprehension about my parents' reaction, to tell you the truth. Just because I never felt like I owed them anything. Just because, they made the mess. I didn't. So.
yeah. I agree with that, but it's just that my parents have always been so nice to me. So I kind of feel like even though they started this mess, I mean they've tried their best at least, and I don't really blame them that much because they were young and naive. They didn't think ahead. They don't, they're just drones like everyone else. They don't think of the consequences. And the society, of course, encourages people to have children, so they don't feel like they're doing something horrible. It just doesn't cross their minds. So in that way, I don't really blame them too much.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's not so much blaming, it's just the, recognizing the simple fact,
Yeah,
their mess.
yeah.
So I'm just
But
saying, I'm not gonna.
also, another aspect is that my parents are extremely religious, so been brainwashed by, be fruitful and multiply and all that crap.
Well, I'm just saying that's another reason for me not to, I mean, I'm just saying from a personal perspective. I don't, I'm not going to take somebody else's faith in a God as something I have to respect. I mean, if they want to waste their life on it, that's fine. But don't shoot me into your
But
fate
I've
for it.
actually been thinking if I write a suicide note, if I should lie and just write like I made a prayer before I killed myself, or just something just to make my mother feel better, because after I'm dead, who cares? It's my pride that would prevent me from doing it. But once I'm dead, I don't have any pride anymore. So why
Yeah,
not just make life better for her?
I don't see any point in that.
It
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't hurt me in any way. So
yeah, comforting people who are the ones who create the afflicted doesn't make any sense to me. But that's just my perspective.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, she
But
probably,
I really quite like my mother, so I just don't want to hurt her too much.
well, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
well, but yeah, no, I know what you're saying, of course, yeah.
I see what you're
Yeah,
saying,
I'm
Laffer
just worried she'll
35.
go mad or something and maybe kill herself and leave my brothers.
Yeah, well, that'll teach everybody a lesson then, won't it? So that would be good, right? Because then there'll be this lesson. So your brother will be more aware. People who knew your mother will be more aware. They'll say,
Yeah,
we might be pay attention to this shit. Maybe life isn't as simple as we thought it was. I'm just saying that I guess there's no point in making it easier for the people who are the perpetrators.
yeah, true, actually, yeah.
I mean, even
Actually,
in
one of my second oldest brother, the one that's young, I'm the oldest one, but I have three brothers, and he already has two children.
yeah, so he's
So,
somebody who could have used a little bit of a lesson.
yeah, definitely.
The second visit, was where the guy came. That was like one where they filmed it, with a professional camera, and
Yeah, and that
so she.
asshole that came with her that kind of ragged on you afterwards. I remember
That
that.
was this visit. You're talking over me again.
I'm sorry. This time it's lag. I'm
Okay, I'm just saying. I was still talking, and you started talking. I'm just saying, stop doing that. Anyway, um, no. So the second visit was the one with the guy for the documentary. So yeah, she's supposed to be editing that. I don't know but that was pretty good stuff.
Did you actually meet her in real life, or?
Yeah, twice. Stupid fuck.
No, I'm not stupid. I'm just ignorant on that, but I'm glad you told me. That's awesome.
Yeah, she came here twice. Yeah, it was really quite awesome. Except she always had some douchebag as a chaperone, so I couldn't like molest her or anything. But shit happens.
So she never comes on Tiny Chat, eh? Like she used to come on Stickam quite a bit.
She doesn't do the internet at all. Okay, I mean, she's had trouble. I mean, not trouble like hard, terrible, terrible trouble. Just a lot of little nuisancey shit. So she just hasn't been. And then her computer busted, and it's all kinds of shit. So I'm just saying she hasn't been doing the internet for a year.
Yeah, Gary traded up on Karina, and now he has Brett Keane.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't done Brett Keane in a year at least. At least.
Speaking of those people, though, what is your thought on the people that constantly promote atheism, but in a positive way, and don't at all acknowledge the fact that life is pointless, meaningless?
Yeah, well, I find just hypocrites suck, right? So I mean, obviously, people who are atheists or evolutionists, right, and find evolution something to celebrate are retarded, quite obviously, right? I mean, you have to be pretty retarded to ignore 99.99% of what evolution is doing and just look at the pretty flowers and say, oh, it's pretty flowers. Look, it's all pretty flowers, pretty flower, pretty flower. I mean, it's just bullshit, right? Just ignore the carnage that happens every fucking day and look at the pretty flowers. I mean, that's what they're doing. So yeah, they're just pussy atheists. They don't. It doesn't mean anything. They're just. Yeah, I mean, it's such an insulting way. It's such an insult to intelligence to say, oh look, I'm smart enough not to be a god botherer, but I'm too stupid to understand that evolution is horrific.
Yeah, those are the people that are like, they run the probability and possibility models, and logically it makes sense if there's no God. But they still run those like same models and say, okay, well, yeah, it'd be fun to do this. You know, they don't want to like go in full bore like you do.
Well, whatever.
And
That
to
doesn't make any
imagine that
sense.
I actually liked Dawkins back in the day, and well, he is kind of a smart guy, but it's just his Pollyannish crap that bugs the hell out of me.
Yeah, what I was going to say
I've
was like,
noticed.
before I interrupted, I'm sorry, but yeah, what I said was absolutely correct. They're slaves to their genes. Their genes are telling them to do that. They're not doing it like, you know, ad hoc.
I mean, it's just silly. There's philosophical perspectives are not genetic. So it's just such crap. That's like saying that we somehow genetically know that death is bad, and we genetically know that sex makes babies. No, we don't know genetically any of that shit. So it's just a pile of crap. All right? It's just culture. 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 It's indoctrination, okay? It's an intellectual conditioning. It doesn't have anything to do with genetics, okay? If people have a vision of life as being a little fluffy word, okay, in pink and pastel colors and little flowers and butterflies are flying around the word life, or they can see life as like stainless steel cutting blades, you know, that are whacking your penis into little tiny square chunks. Okay, that's the two ways they can see the word life, right? Okay, I'm just saying that's a cultural thing, not a genetic thing.
Yeah, and I
Well,
completely
only
and that wasn't what I was
the
saying. What I
only
was saying
consistent.
is that the way that they are like actually adapting, they philosophically and biologically know that they are, you know, a self-replicating DNA molecule, but at the same time, they're playing the other part of it to, you know, nurture and do that other crap.
Well, they don't know it, though. They don't take it into its logical conclusion. When you don't take something to a logical conclusion, you can't say they know it. All right? That's not knowing something, okay? When you say fish lives underwater and you don't recognize that, oh, it must have gills, that's not really knowing fish, right? If you take the gills out of the fish, it's not really a fish anymore, is it? No. So I'm just saying it's, you know, you have to acknowledge what the implications of the evolution is. Okay, if you're going to say you know evolution.
Yeah, the only consistency I've noticed through people that argue for reproduction are the fun times in life. You know, someone has ice cream, but then when you say to them that, but when you say to them that person having ice cream is also equal to that person starving to death, they have no response for that. Just that ice cream is awesome.
And Thunderfoot,
Yeah, well, I mean, it is.
and Thunderfoot even claims that you inherit philosophy. Yeah, I mean that's just completely retarded. Like philosophy is genetical. I mean, where does it get that from? It's just so absurd.
Yeah, well, it was just a convenient counter argument. I mean, he obviously doesn't believe that, and when he thinks about it, but again, he didn't give it any thought. He just wanted to come up with
Yeah,
some sort of, you know, quick
yeah.
little jab back accusation-y thing to make somebody sound like they're silly when, you know, the fact is his argument is vacant. So when that's what desperate people do. They make desperately stupid arguments. And so he made a
Yeah.
desperate, stupid argument. But obviously the argument from life has some kick-ass bits to it. I mean, it does, you know, this whole idea of the addiction is a real syndrome. I mean, we have to account for this fact that it is addiction. Okay, I mean, little strawberry tarty here, you know, she's awful pretty. You know, she's got a little face and all this kind of crap. And yeah, and we know that we're owned by that shit. We know that Cheeto, okay, will make you move. All right, it'll create a gravity that will suck you in. All right, a vortex of hope and accomplishment and all that. That part is genetic, okay? The genetic part is the part that gets you in the game, keeps you hungry. That's the genetic part. The cultural and psychological and intellectual and philosophical point is to understand perspective and to say, oh, I'm addicted as fuck. And that's not too hard to do. So that's really all we're trying to argue with people is just admit what's happening here. You're a bigot. Okay, you are subjectively owned okay, by perceptions of need and desire that own you. Okay, they control you in the sense that they own your thoughts and your fantasies and your hopes and your wishes are all made out of this shit. And it's just fucking shit.
Yeah, well, so basically you agreed exactly what I said. I said they're slaves to their genes. I said there's the people that are, you know, philosophically and whatever intellectually.
Obviously, this is not what I'm saying, okay? They're not slaves to their genes. They're slaves to an interpretation of their philosophical understanding, their conditioning. I mean, how is it a slave to your genes? The only flaw that people have is they don't accept their biological mechanism. They're not recognizing their machines running a fucking muck. They're machines with an obsession. I mean, if I made a bulldozer, okay, and then I made it horny for like tricycles, okay, then we could write a whole scenario about how this could, like, we really should inform these bulldozers that they can't run over and grab the tricycles when the tricycles have little kids on them, right? We could create a whole value ethical scenario to make this all very complicated, because now there'd be an ethical equation about whether the bulldozer can have the tricycle.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was what I'm saying. I mean, like, those people do what they do because it's genetically predisposed.
Oh, fuck you. You're just not, you know. Well, yeah, I agree, except I want to say something entirely different once again. I'll just keep repeating my stupid premise and ignoring your sensible, rational contextualization of my stupid premise, which is that the only thing in the way is a stupid idea. You change their idea, you fix them. You don't have to change their genetics. You just fix their fucking perception of the facts.
Yeah, and I wasn't like trying to. I was actually trying to throw some out that you would think about and be like, hey, all right, well, I have a counter argument to it. You know, that's what I enjoy about you.
I don't even know what that means, but whatever. I wish I could say I enjoy things about you, but I can't. You fucker. Especially under this new stupid name, which I can't even pronounce.
Oh, Gary, can I ask you a question?
Control 337? What the fuck does that mean? What's the 337 for?
It spells out eat.
It spells out something. It's fucking numbers. You people are retarded. All right.
So, Gary, do you still sell any art on eBay?
I'm not at the moment, but eventually I'll have to do something to make fucking money. So I have to live in this stupid.
I would love to have some piece of Inmendham art. Maybe not clothes, but maybe like one of those lion heads or something like that.
Oh, well,
I remember you showed like a face, I think your face, and then the lion on the other side or something like that.
Yeah, I think I gave all those away.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I still got this one. This one doesn't have a lion on the other side, though.
Or maybe a picture that I could frame or something. Just not, maybe not just I'm not so interested in T-shirts and things like that, but you know, pictures and stuff like that. I would love to buy.
Whatever. Someday maybe. I actually got some pictures I did.
How much are you willing to pay?
Thousands of dollars, presumably, since he brought it up. Yeah, you have to pay thousands.
Yeah, of course. I'll pay $50,000 gladly for. Actually, I got you know, the Norwegian unemployment system is way too generous, because I was diagnosed with Asperger's, and I know you think that's a bullshit diagnosis, but anyway, it provided me with $50,000. I just got $50,000 on my account just in a day because I was diagnosed with Asperger's. So.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, $50. I wish I could get that for being Asperger.
Yeah, so I kind of felt guilty about it, because you know it's taxpayer money that I just get for free just by.
Yeah,
anyway. I'm not returning it anyway.
I think you're supposed to spend that money in Norway so it stays in the local economy. You're not supposed to send it to Gary all the way in New Jersey.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think there's any such rule, but whatever, who cares? Blah, 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 blah. Enough of this stupid subject. Okay, done.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad that guy would get all like $50,000. Fucking awesome, dude. Spend it and have fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's very nice.
I'll end up spending it all on cigarettes. You know, the insane prices here. I'll end up in a few years. I'll be all out because of the cigarettes.
Well, you know, whatever.
They're getting it all back.
They'll get it all back one way or the other anyway. But true enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, can I talk about a serious subject? Kind of serious.
I suppose. Well, I mean, we probably should still talk about your microphone needing an upgrade. But whatever.
I'm sorry about my microphone, but yeah. What I'd like to talk about is the universe. Like, how far is it going to expand into, and what's it expanding into? And I know no one knows, but kind of good conversation.
So the universe expand.
I don't know, universe expanding is like talking about, what, vaginal warts or something. It just isn't that much fun. I mean, it's got a vagina in it, but there's warts. Who wants to talk about warts? Oh, fuck that. So, I mean, yeah, it just doesn't, what's the point of this universe crap? It doesn't go anywhere. It's like that stupid fucking movie, The Morbid Atheist, made me watch. Well, he didn't really force me to watch it, but he did suggest it. I mean, it just, you know, it has this Buddha Maya crap in it. It's all this hokey pokey whatever flying through spacey little globy things with trees in them and blah blah blah. It's all a pile of crap. I mean, who cares what the universe is doing? We know how we got here. We are biological machines. Machines created by a process of natural selection. Even though it sounds natural, it's really a mechanical selection. And that's all it is. And circumstantial selection. That's all it is. And the tendency is to create what are called predators and prey. And for them to play a stupid game of, I'm going to chase you and eat your little ass, and you're going to go, ah! And I'll just say, too bad, because I'm a dumb animal and I don't give a fuck. I mean, what the hell? So you do that for 4 billion years. Why the fuck do we bother? Oh yeah, that's right, because we're stupid. So that's the answer to your question. There's no point in asking a question about how far the universe is expanding. Who the fuck could possibly care but somebody totally not interested in reality?
But like scientists are not being prey, so they can answer that. I don't quite. What was the whole screaming thing about? What was that?
What, you don't understand what screaming is? That animals are getting by like crocodiles would scream? You don't understand that?
You seem to have like you did like a victim thing where it's like, you know, people are getting fucked by other people and that's just the way it is. Well, be a fucking predator then.
Yeah, fuck you. Go to hell and die. Get cancer.
Hey, do not God.
Hell. All right.
Have you ever?
Get cancer then.
Do not God. I think a lot of predatory animals need to just be extinct. Like I think we need to just kill them off, like tigers.
Yeah, I think all. What? You think the prey animals are worth keeping? No, they're not worth keeping either. That's right. I think we need to undo it all. Every little stinking paranecium needs to have a little undo button. They all need to be squished. Undo, 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 undo.
I think that's harder than just killing some tigers.
That's what I should title my fucking book. It's just Undo. Make a movie, right? No one's ever made a movie called Undo, right? That's a great title, right? Undo. Just undo it. Oh, undo it's even better.
So, Forever Wolf Films, your name is Amanda, isn't it? Or yeah, I thought so.
Yep, that's my name.
Yeah, I've been enjoying your anti-natalist videos.
Well, you could kind of
Thank
email.
you.
You could like email her with this kind of conversation. Well, this isn't very. I just don't like personal conversations going on in the room, okay, about people like, oh,
Okay,
I see you wearing.
I'm sorry. It's just the first time I've seen her live, so I just.
Understand,
Okay,
but
I'm
you
sorry.
can sit there and talk to her anytime you want to. You can send people PMs, and you can Skype them, and you can do all kinds of stuff. So you don't need to have personal conversations in the middle of a room.
Okay, I just thought I'd say hello. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, it's not the hello room, so you should already know that.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck you. Anyway, where were we? I like Biodegradable Man. Interesting character. Ooh, Adderall guys here again. Ew. Ew. Oh, the girl's mic isn't working. That's not a girl. It's probably a fake. Sunflower. Okay. So you are a girl. Yeah, it is always nice to have proof. But whatever. Ugh. Let's see, so yeah, so where was I? Oh God, I'm so irritated.
Gary, did you have any thoughts on the Chris Christie bridge scandal?
No, fucking people keep talking about this shit. I'm like, who the fuck cares? I mean, we already know he's a nothing from nobody, from no how. It's all political bullshit. The guy's never done a thing in his goddamn life to merit anybody's interest whatsoever. Why anyone should possibly care, I don't understand. And it is so preposterously stupid. But, I mean, the state of New Jersey, we apparently can't elect anybody who isn't a complete basket fucking case. I mean, we had a governor, right, who was right, who had a fucking beard wife, 3 beard children, while he was gay fucking all over the goddamn place, right? And then he's being governor and giving his gay friends jobs and shit, and it was just like, what the fuck? I mean, where do these fucking people come from? And Christie, he's obviously another one of these guys who thinks he's like Jack Serrano or something, or Soprano, right? He thinks he's Jack Soprano, right? I'm the boss of New Jersey, and yeah, you'll play with me, I'm gonna play with you, buddy. I mean, it's just a joke. It's a fucking preposterous joke. And I'm telling you, if Hillary Clinton and this fat piece of fucking turd are on the ballot for President of the United States, I'm blowing my fucking brains out. I don't care. I'll blow it out with anything, but I'm blowing my brains out because it'll be too fucking preposterous to have a preposterous liar, bitch, running against a useless fat turd. I mean, fucking all 400 million shitheads in this country, we can't find anything better than this?
Like, yeah, it's a nice bridge over there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it, huh?
I mean, it's just a joke. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is this? Oh, man, yeah, go get that guy. Yeah, he looked cross-eyed at me. Yeah.
I mean,
So
like,
you think that's enough? Do you think that's enough to disqualify him now? Because he was the front runner. Him and Rand Paul are the 2 front runners.
I mean, yeah, but he's like not even Rand Paul.
Right? He was a joke before he got the job of governor, right? He was a nothing attorney general. He got appointed out of patronage or whatever the fuck, Rich Friendship Network or whatever it is. I mean, he's nobody from nowhere, from nothing. He does nothing. He can do nothing. He's useless. He has not one fucking idea in his fucking useless fat tubby head. So he shouldn't be president anyway because he has not one fucking single clue. We had a hurricane, and I solicited billions of dollars, and we spent it. Everybody applaud me, right? I'm brilliant, right? Yes, I figured out how to get a bunch of money and give it to some guy in Florida to clean up the mess, because everything's all messy, because everything got dirty. And so we got everything clean again. So I'm a great guy because I didn't do anything. I signed a couple of pieces of paper, and that was all I did.
Yeah, I mean, I just find it like, kind of interesting, like the one guy that, you know, might be a challenger for the presidential candidacy, they come out with, you know, a backup on a fucking bridge. Yeah, you know, unemployment's at an all-time high. Obamacare's fucking dumping into the shitbox. Well, what they're doing is, obviously, anybody that knows anything about politics, they know that they're pre-doing this, because when Hillary Clinton runs in 2016, they're gonna fucking have Christie already on the fucking cross, and that's exactly what it is. And anybody that doesn't have any idea
God,
of anything,
are you silly? Are you fucking silly? Christie on the cross? You don't think this guy's got? This is only the tip of the tiniest little tip of the fucking iceberg of bullshit this guy has got in his closet. Once they start scratching a little tiny bit, they're gonna find out this guy is probably gay. They're gonna find out he was having an affair with Hillary. You know, and Hillary was wearing her fucking Margaret Thatcher suit. You know, there's gonna be a whole. So this is just stupid. What the fuck are you talking about on the cross?
no, what I'm talking about is obviously, like, everybody in here knows about Chris Christie. Why? Out of fucking New Jersey, out of all states. But there's, like, you know, the Benghazi thing when fucking 4 fucking soldiers died. Hillary Clinton was responsible. Nobody hears about it. And all this other shit.
What do you mean nobody cares? If I know about it, somebody must care, right? Because I don't even watch the fucking news, and I know about it. And I know about her lying through her fucking teeth 4 million previous times, and we all know that the only people who want Hillary Clinton to be president of the United States is fucking Oprah. Okay? That's it. It's all about fucking Oprah. Right? There's nobody with a rational, sensible, progressive, democratic brain that's saying, oh yeah, let's vote for Hillary. Nobody wants Hillary Clinton to be fucking president. Are you insane? No one is going to vote for her who has a brain. No one.
I agree with you, but if Hillary Clinton ran right now, she would win. I swear to God.
I bet you every little lousy, rotten pair of socks you own that she would not win, she would lose.
Who would she lose to?
Exactly. That's the $4 zillion question. So as long as we get a Republican to run against her who just looks so semi-rational and doesn't say anything, just does that, like that movie with you know, Peter Sellers in it, and the guy never says anything. He just goes, gardening is a very nice thing to do. So yeah, let's get some guy who can just say, gardening is, you must plant the plants in the soil and give them water. And he'll say something simple, and everybody will say, oh, what a smart guy he is. That is an incredibly good analogy. And so, yeah, so let's just, if she runs against that, she'll lose, okay? The only thing she could beat is something worse than her, which is almost such a hideous monster that I can't even imagine one off the top of my head, but that's the only way she could lose. I mean, the only way she could win.
Gary, who do you see beating her? Seriously, who do you see beating her?
Well, I'm just saying, get anyone off the street. I mean, can I explain this to you any other way? Find somebody who's got at least average or above average appearance, and is at least that's one way it'll work. Fuck.
Yeah, Gary, you know what?
Anyway,
I think
okay. Sorry.
No, nothing. I just told Gary I was going to burn a bowl.
Oh, okay, good idea. Fly away.
Well, I guess I'll be leaving. It's quite later now, so it was nice talking to you. So maybe I'll pop in some other weekend and try not to talk about totally irrelevant things like hammering and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's okay. Look, you know, we'll learn to deal with each other. It's okay. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Just don't
Okay,
take me
then.
personally.
Okay. So goodbye then.
Yep. Thanks for showing up.
See you, Leffer.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, I've talked to him before. Yeah, he's got a whole, you know, he's got a whole backstory that's pretty horrific. You know, I mean, he's just going blind, all kinds of other shit, blah 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 blah. Life is, you know, whatever. Ugh. So, but yeah, he's a nice guy. Yep. And of course, life is going to crush and destroy him. Yeah, that's what you get. That's your reward. Be a nice guy and get crushed and destroyed. Yes, sir. Some kind of wonderful deal we got here. Yes, sir. Love playing dice with that. Yep.
Yeah, it's really a horrible fucking existence.
Yeah, and especially if you're in the horrible suit. Yeah, the loser suit. Yeah, it really sucks. Oh, fuck.
It's good days. I'm about to go to the beach.
Yeah, well, good for you. Summer over there. Going to the beach and
Lucky bastard.
yeah, be all them Australian chickaroonies on the beach and such. Yeah, well, I hope you get good and depressed. I hope some fucking chick is, she's hopping around with like some fucking trolly-looking, monstrous, hideous piece of shit guy, and she's just taunting you, and she haunts you for the rest of your life. Yeah, you're just sitting there haunted. Women have done that to me my whole life. They've haunted me. I still remember this girl, right? I remember this girl.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I guarantee you and I will be connected forever.
Well, whatever. Who cares? You know how low you're gonna be on my list. I was just gonna describe. Like, so this is this girl I saw when I was like 16 at a food store, right, in a white dress. And the sun just hit her the right way, right? You almost see through the dress a little bit. It was just perfect. And yeah, I mean, she's stuck in my head for the rest of my fucking life. That girl's gonna be in my fucking head, right? Where's Bandit gonna be? Yeah, right, okay, it's like, there's about 763 girls ahead of Bandit. At least that many.
I've had that ever since I've left high school. There's just been this one girl, and it's just like, fuck, why didn't I ever talk to her?
Yeah, well, I got more than one of those. Yeah, but yeah, there was one who owned me for like 5 years, from the time I was like 12, well, 11 to about, 17, so that's 7 years she owned me. She just did. 7 years I pined for that bitch. But anyway, so anyway, that's the name of the game. Chase the pussy, right? That's the name of the game. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to catch it, you just want to chase it. Catching it is bad idea. Don't catch it, because you don't want that snapping and jacking. That thing will bite you back. Can't keep it in. There's no cage you can keep it in. It will find a way out. It'll find a way to eat your brain.
Not all women are that horrible.
It's not that they're horrible. It's just their nature. It's like any other parasitic infection. It's like any other syphilis microbe. They just destroy you slowly over time. They'll just eat your soul.
Yeah, my last relationship pretty much did that to me.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the only good news. Is at least we're just as big a disease, just as bad a disease. It is terrible though. Just horrible. It seems like it should be so simple. It seems so simple. Just put the penis in the vagina. It couldn't be simpler. Why is this complicated? But somehow it gets fucking so complicated.
Yeah, you should just like screw and eat ice cream together.
Exactly.
And smile and giggle, and that'll be it.
Take a bath, have a massage. I mean, it really shouldn't be a problem. Really shouldn't.
I saw that real life shit, bills and all that get in the way.
Yeah, it does. Yep. It really does. Fuck the garden.
I mean, I went out like last week, and it's really kind of weird for me 'cause I don't like going out, but my friends like going out, so they drag me along and all that. And then I'm in the dance floor or whatever, awkwardly stumbling around, and then this one Christian chick, and then we somehow started talking, and it's all like she's talking about God's love, and like I'm just thinking, oh, you're so adorable. Like for some reason I find super religious girls kind of cute in a way. in a condescending asshole kind of way.
Yeah, well, you better get reconditioned for that one. That's like being a, I don't know, that's like being a fucking frog sexual or something. You just don't want to be one of those. You have to get that fixed.
Yeah, it has been a problem for me.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can't.
I mean, like, I just don't say anything. Like, I don't ever say I'm an atheist and I hate life and all that. I just sort of nod my head and I'm like, yep, God loves us all.
Yeah, I know, but just saying, there's just no point. It's just no point in fucking frogs, and there's no point in fucking Christian chicks. It's just, it'll go nowhere good.
The scariest are the anti-abortion ones. It's like, man, I gotta be careful with this shit.
Well, you can't even go there at all, right? That's just, you have to be able to get the contracts properly signed before you engage in the relationship thing. And so, yeah, I will not, my penis will not go into a vagina that has not accepted the contract. Ah, yes, silence is good, though. I'm liking it. Ugh. Alright, so where were we? We got sidetracked.
So Gary, what do you think about that Pastafarian getting sworn into office?
I don't even know what that means, but your mic is too loud, too.
Is that the flying spaghetti monster religion, the atheist thing?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, I was going to say something. Oh, yeah, about the silencing. I was just thinking about sounds. You know, how they're, it's another way you can just manipulate mood with sound. You know, the ticking of a clock and, different sounds are very, it's all part of the, if you're going to brainwash somebody, you have to use sound as part of the brainwashing. So I've been thinking about that. I have to do that more in my videos. Manipulate people with sound.
Well, I mean, it is true. I was at a fair a while ago, and there's this hypnosis guy, and I thought it was really bullshit at first. But I mean, like, he gets them in this sort of trance, and he plays this soothing music, and I really do think he kind of fucks with people.
Yeah, that's the whole game. That's what hypnosis is fucking with people. But yeah, no, you have to, you really do have to. I was just thinking
Create the
about,
ambience.
well, it's just this idea that this is a creative project. So I'm just saying, okay, let's say if I did 1 minute a day, right? I create 1 minute of good video a day. That shouldn't be too much trouble for me, right? I should be able to handle this. And so I should have like a masterpiece, right? At the end of 130 days. And so if I just cut it down to 20 seconds a day, then I could take a whole year. But I mean 20 seconds of perfect. I should be able to produce 20 seconds of a perfect thing per day. Right?
Yeah, I know, but those 20 seconds could be perfect. But as soon as you put it all together, it could fall apart, you know?
Well, I mean, the whole point,
Like,
though,
I mean...
the point is, so you're making one thing. You're not just making 20 seconds. You're making a whole thing. But I'm just saying you're only doing 20 seconds of it at a time. So I'm just saying you're making a whole, but you're only doing 20 seconds at a time. So you should be able to do it all quite carefully and perfectly. Yeah. Just saying, theoretically, I should be able to do this. I should be able to make a masterpiece. I should technically be able to. There should be nothing stopping me. Technically.
Well, have you tried?
Well, apparently not.
Well, that's the first step, Gary.
Well, I guess so. Geez, man, I guess that's why I brought it up, is that, yeah, this is something I've sort of figured out, that for me to create a masterpiece, that maybe I have to have a masterpiece plan. And so, yes, I'm working on my create a masterpiece plan, because I've actually decided that I have to do this thing because I haven't done it yet, and I better do it, because I promised I'm going to make the greatest video ever, and I've never gotten around to doing it, so I better get to it already. Because I guess it isn't going to just fall out of...
Send Gary cigarettes for motivation.
Like, I'm not going to just fart the greatest video ever, so apparently I actually have to make the greatest video ever on purpose. I can't just accidentally make it. Jeez.
You could cut it down to 7 seconds a day and start making Vine videos.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm just saying I have to get to it. That's all I'm saying. Gotta do her. Yeah, that stupid, what's his name? Ian Crossland's been doing these kind of stupid fucking 10-second videos. Really annoying.
Well, I mean, the problem for me in doing anything, even doing essays in high school and all that, like, I'm just such a perfectionist that, I mean, like, I've actually done an essay before and not even handed it in because there's something about it that just bugs the shit out of me that I don't even want to be responsible for it, you know?
No, I wasn't paying any attention. Did you say something?
I'm saying I just have this weird perfectionist problem that always stops me from ever trying anything.
Yeah, I know, but that's sort of a lie, isn't it? Yeah, that's sort of just an excuse, isn't it? Yeah, that's what that is, because I've used that one before, too. Yeah, it's an excuse. It's lame. We all tend to be lazy, motherfucking cunts. Yes, that's a tendency people have. And then they have this like tendency to rationalize. Like, I needed to play video games all day. Yeah, I needed a personal day. Yeah. Alright, so I had a lot of personal days in the last week or two. So what? Alright, so I've had a lot of personal days in the last year or two. Okay, what's the big deal? I need personal days. I'm worth it. People always do that too. I'm worth it. Like somebody else was arguing they weren't worth it. You know, they're always like arguing, I'm worth it! Like they're defending themselves against somebody else's accusation, like somebody accused them of not being worth it, and they're just like pretending, so it's like a straw man response to the non-existent, aggressive accuser of uselessness. And it's just such a lame way, you know, to justify yourself. People suck that way. Yeah, I'd like to make a reality show, but the reality show would be Gary in his underwear, washing his dishes. Gary in his, well, I wouldn't wash the dishes. I would just look at the dishes and yell at them. What are you doing in my sink, you fucking dirty dishes? I didn't invite you here. Go home. Go. Get out. Shoo. Scat. Go away. Yeah. But I'm not washing it. I've done that before. I'm not doing it again. It's your fault you're in the sink. It's your fault you're dirty. I'm not taking any responsibility anymore. Fuck you.
If you show your cat in your show, I'll watch it.
Yeah, well, that always does work. It does charm some people anyway.
I guess a cat needs to be the antenatalist mascot, because we all seem to love it.
Well, that's just whatever that is, but yes, there does seem to be a commonality amongst people of some sort of character do like cats.
I was just joking.
But it is true. I mean, you know, these people who like cats, generally speaking, are people of some quality.
I don't know, my mother's crazy about him and she's a religious nut. She'd vote for Hillary.
Well, okay, so there goes that theory. Anyway, where was I? Oh, Earth. Fuck. Shit. I end up here again. Oh, damn. The horror. The horror. The horror. The horror. The horror.
It'll end eventually, Gary.
It
Sooner, hopefully, than later.
Yeah, la la la. It's all just blah blah blah. Yeah, that doesn't do it for me. I need to see it end.
Humanity probably will end fairly soon, but I don't think the animal problem's going away anytime in the near future.
Do with exactly the thing that created it, so the thing created it can be very different than the fucking thing it creates. And so still explain, why does my fingers make a sound when I snap them? Why does this make a sound when I flick my fingernails? Why does whistling work? And why is it, okay, 1 minute I'm making a sound, the next minute I'm not making a sound? Why does the sound break down? Why does doing this not make a clicky sound and doing this makes a clicky sound? Why is there a difference? Fuckhead. Yes, because one creates fucking matter moving faster than the speed of sound, the other one doesn't. Jackass. I'm right. Sorry, I mean, this is an argument that none of you people understand or are interested in, but I mean, this physics stuff really is compelling, and these motherfuckers are so arrogant, it pisses me off. Well, again,
Well, actually, I'm
vibrating
taking physics now because
is
of you,
not
Gary.
the fucking point. Again, you're just not getting it. All right, they're mediums, and they transfer energy through different mediums. All right, and the point is, when you create sound, you're transforming one fucking movement into a fucking something that's transmitted as a wave through the medium. And you have to do that through a certain kind of violence. Not any violence will work. Ugh. I'm not going to keep arguing it. But the thing creating a wave and the wave itself are not necessarily functionally related. The medium transforms the energy. Out of my mind? No, I'm the one that's rational and you're a pile of shit! Well, whatever. Speed is relevant. There are absolutes, and there's just no point in not recognizing underlying structure, and that's the whole point. You can't look at something after you fucking manipulated it through 4 million different pieces of instrumentality and say that's what it looks like. I mean, damn. Well, it's worse than getting yelled at, I think, but whatever.
I've been yelled at enough lately. I don't need it today.
Well, it's okay. I mean, this shit, if you're getting yelled at over mic issues, that's not that bad. Oh, anyway, I need something else to drink since I spilled my coffee. bastards piss me off. I'll be back. Oh, who's that guy in the mask? That's kind of bizarre. Oh, he's got long hair though. Henry Tuttle. I think he's fake. Yes, you appear to be fake. Oh, look at that. Yes, you are. You're fake. You're a fraud and a phony. Yeah, like what? He's not a real mental patient. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, no, he isn't. He's just faking it. He's just faking looking like a mental patient. Snow bunny. Yeah, I always wanted one of those. Ah, you came up with it. You invented Snow Bunny, huh? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but yeah, the women in those unitardy things, it does have a thing, you know, it does do, you know, yeah, you like the Snow Bunny kind of look, right? The woman in like the zippered suit thingy, you know, with maybe a little bit of fur and such around, such, and yeah. I always kind of wanted one of those by the fire and such. Everything is a term. I mean, really, everything. Yeah, really, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the Google images are on Snow Bunny. Yeah, see if there are any actual rabbits that come up under Snow Bunny. Yes, you go to your settings, the little wheelie thing over there in the corner, the little gear thing. Should be able to change the color there. Yeah, he says he's probably got what? He's got, I don't know what the magnifiers are. It's probably just a regular headlight, and the glasses are some other add-on. Yeah, some kind of stupid thing he's invented. Yep, there you go. See, it comes apart. I don't like goggles. I hate stuff. I hate wearing anything, actually. It's weird. I hate headphones. I hate goggles. What are you doing, Bandit? I've seen you do this fucking sign language shit before. What the fuck is that crap? Stupid code you're sending. Some kind of alien shit. And the cigarette's broken. Drop my damn coffee on it. Alright, anyway, we need a real subject again. Or I got totally distracted. Damn, I have damn atomizer burned out, I think. Fuck, this only lasted like 3 days. Damn it. That sucks. I gotta buy some new ones before I run out. Shit. Yep, dead. Do a change. Fuck. Probably that Roboto guy's fault too. Goddamn people. Stupid fuckers. We got 4 left. Everybody's new and immediately tomorrow. Open the fucking thing. Alright, sorry. Technical difficulties. Find the damn pointy thing.
So, Gary, what are you talking about? What the fuck is going on? What are you doing over there playing with your mic?
No, I'm playing with my cigarette actually. Yeah, I'll come along to ban you any moment now. Just wait a second. And until I'm done repairing
Hey
my...
man, how you doing?
Ban me for what? You're a stupid son of a bitch is what you are, you fucking
Stupid
asshole.
fucking asshole.
Ban me,
Blah, 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 blah,
ban
blah,
me for everything, for goddamn everything. Piece
blah,
of fucking shit.
blah, 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 blah.
I'm one of the most smartest goddamn fucking intellectuals, Christian intellectuals you could ever believe in.
Whatever. Die.
Hey Manic, how are you?
High triple temper rain.
Whatever, how is he? How is he? What is this gray guy asleep or something? Why didn't you ban him yet? Let's see what he says. Who cares? Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Well, I mean, he always goes bad. There's just no point in talking to him. Even when he's decent, he'll just turn into shit. Precisely the same age? I don't think so. Yeah, so how you doing, Kate?
Cat, don't be such a crybaby.
Perfectly. I never did anything to anybody. I've never been a troll or anything. Everybody treats me like poo. Blah, blah, blah,
I
blah,
love
blah.
you,
You
Gary.
whiny little puke, whiny little puke.
I love you. I really do. That's why I come here.
That's what all the little whiny little trolls say. I love you. Please love me back. I need to
Are
be
you still
loved.
upset over last week?
Whiny little whiny love meter. Eh.
You seem very upset, Gary. Is everything okay?
We all love you,
Anyway.
sad, unhappy person.
Yeah, Gary seems very unhappy.
Lies. Gary loves us all. Deep down in here.
You're a very charming troll.
I think Gary is just this far away from jumping off a cliff.
No.
Well, that's a pity. But hey, one can always hope, wish, and dream.
Aww.
I mean, he's such a nice person. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
I don't think jumping off a cliff is a very nice way to go.
No, do you have any better suggestions? We can make it nice for him. We can give him some advice.
A gun to the head would be the preferable way to go.
That would be pretty cool.
Compression method
I don't
is
think
the
Gary keeps a gun.
Well, he probably doesn't, but I'm just saying that would be the way to go, because it's bam, you're done. Not, oh shit, I'm gonna die, and then bam, you know. Or getting
You'd be
tortured
dead a
or
million
something.
times over if he had a gun.
Or being forced to drown yourself in a bucket of water, because you're surrounded by a bunch of assholes.
Oh, that guy, yeah, he took too many drugs. I feel sorry for him. Oh, he's dead now, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, look, you want me to ban you? I'll ban you, okay? Look, the first
Sorry, I won't insult him.
somebody else's drugs, okay? There was somebody else's drugs, you stupid fuck. You don't even know the story. You don't know the context. So you want to lie about dead people, do it somewhere else, you stupid, useless cunt. I mean, go ahead, pick on me.
I'm sorry, I won't lie.
Dead people is lame, you fucker.
Good riddance.
Yeah, I mean, really, he just doesn't has nothing to contribute anyway, right? Oh, I'm going to point out that Gary's not happy because life isn't spectacularly cool. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, right. Duh. It's my whole message, jackass. That's right. It's broken. I don't like it. Wow. How horrible am I? I guess I'm the problem because I'm pointing out the obvious. Gee, don't do that, Gary. We don't want to know the truth. We just want to be stupid, useless, trolly shit fucks who have absolutely nothing to do with their life and are demonstrating it every week by showing up in this fucking room, and yet they'll pretend they're accomplishing something when they're even a
I mean, I
bigger
thought he was
loser.
kind of funny, like, 3 months ago, but I mean, it's just the same old routine with him. He just does the same shit.
I'm
It's
just
like, yeah, you're
saying,
not.
it's just so lame on its face, right? I'm here because I have to be here, right? Okay? Unlike him.
He's South African, that's why he's a cock.
Well, he's actually in England now, so it doesn't really matter. Ah, that's good. Bandit's not talking to somebody, is he? I mean, he's not saying anything, right? Talking to somebody else, okay. Anyway, it's very quiet. Is everybody, nobody's saying anything, correct? I mean, I'm just checking.
No one's
sound
saying
check.
anything.
Okay, just doing a sound check, because, sooner or later I will not be able to hear anybody. It always happens. Then eventually I will not be able to hear anyone. Okay, my drink is ready. Yay!
I mean, I was looking back on some Professor Anton videos or whatever, and I remember his first reply to one of his earlier ones when he was not really familiar with the whole antinatalism argument, and he was just sort of like, well, if someone doesn't really enjoy it, they can just choose to remove themselves from it. And then there was that whole, I don't know if it was before or after, it was about the right to die discussion, and he was kind of against the right to die because somehow we needed to find meaning in our lives or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, I don't really remember that part.
I don't know, it just seems all over the place to me.
Well, he's obviously wishy-washy, but I don't know. I don't remember him being against the right to die too much, but, yeah, I just don't think he's comfortable with any kind of subject that has anything to do with reality. I mean, he's just he's selling this idea of believing, the bullshit. Just believe the bullshit has some purpose. And, just because it makes life easier, I suppose, or more meaningful if you pretend it has meaning or whatever. But it does seem all desperate. But he has this weird, he has this weird, certain things mean something to him, and somehow sounds mean something to him, like, if we couldn't communicate with voices or somehow we'd be missing something. And, his last video
He has a
was
hard-on for language.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what he just made a video and it was just such mush.
I think it was about music, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, yeah, something like, yeah, crying to music or something. You're just like, oh, yeah, well, gee, that's so special, isn't it? Like, that's supposed to mean something. I mean, we all know that that's just, we all react because of some emotional jibber jabber, you know what I'm saying? We associate it with somebody dying or associate it with some sort of sad thing and blah, 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 and that's all it is. It's just
And somehow language makes everything less deterministic in a way, like our choices or some bullshit like that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's bullshit in the sense that he seems to think words mean something different when they're written or when they're spoken. And, that's kind of bullshit. I mean, it's clearly, sentences are conveyed with a different context, but the context is, writing provides this great idea that you get to control the entirety of the context, whereas when somebody speaks something, you can't control the context, right? So if I say something angry like, drop dead, fucker! Or I say, drop dead, fucker. Obviously the two ways you could say that can change how you interpret, how it impacts you. But when you write it, obviously the context is a little harder, to play that game with. So, I mean, your brain gets to decide the context, kind of by itself.
Well, I mean, I just don't think he really, he thinks language is somehow more awesome if it's spoken rather than what the animals are doing or something, just broken. I mean, they're just as limited by determinism as a kid is, right?
Yeah, but, again, determinism doesn't exclude the idea of brokenness that's not, there's brokenness that is a byproduct of, let's see how to describe, there's two ways you can have an accident, right? I mean, you can have an accident because you misunderstood a risk, or you can have an accident because you decided that risk doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So those two things are kind of different mistakes. I mean, they're both mistakes. They're both ignorant. But I mean, one's a kind of ignorance that doesn't have a good origin, and one's an ignorance that has an origin that you can justify. I mean, one's justifiably ignorant, and one is in a way not justifiably ignorant. I mean, it sounds like, it's just, I'm just saying it. There is a distinction between something that couldn't help it, quote unquote, and something that doesn't help it. I know that doesn't make much sense, but I'm just saying I define.
Well, like, no, it's kind of like how people justify Nietzsche and the whole be whatever you're supposed to be. I mean, you always look at the eagle and it's eating the mouse, and it's like, is the eagle evil because it's eating the mouse? Well, it just doesn't know any better. I mean, I think you're saying that humans do have that capacity.
Well, I'm just saying that the level of the ignorance is a kind of arrogance. So I guess that's the distinction in a way. I mean, the bottom line is the same, you know, but it's, I guess I'm just saying that one is more understandable deterministically. One is more like you can see why it is what it is, and the other you're like, how the fuck did it accomplish that? I mean, how did it avoid the truth? You know, because it's almost like you can't imagine how it avoided that truth without some kind of deliberate act to avoid the truth, you know. But I mean, obviously it's not deliberate if they are Christians or if they are just selfish fucks or there's some other thing that got in their way. It obviously got in their way, but it's just harder to understand. So I guess I'm saying I don't know if I would have some separate punishments. I'm not going to have some separate response to it. I'm just saying I want to still put them in different categories because they seem different to me.
Yeah,
but it might
and
not.
I kind of disagree a little bit with that, because to me it just doesn't really make a difference in a way. Because it's all just determinism all the way through.
I know, but I think it does make a difference in the sense that, let's see if there's a way to explain it. Use a better example of a distinction. I guess it's the trial and error thing. Okay, so you're saying that you would expect something that hasn't played the game very often to be incompetent, right? But something that has played the game, you know, has learned how to juggle or throw the baseball or something else. You're saying how could they be, you know, now ignorance doesn't become, is a lot harder to justify it as anything other than a willful contempt for the truth. Like they had to be possessed, not by just stupidity, but will, you know, a desire, something that just overwhelmed their capacity to even apply reason. So I'm just saying that the mistake is formed out of a different kind of flaw. You know, it's not the same kind of mechanical flaw. The flaw of pure ignorance, of being totally unprepared for the game you're playing, and the kind of, you know, structure that creates a monster, you know, that is capable of just, you know, knowing better and not acting better. Those are two different things. So I guess I just don't want them in the same category because there are different ways of being broken. So I guess you could explain it like a hardware problem versus a software problem. Or you could explain it, you know, in some other way. I'm just saying there's no point in not making a distinction between something that's broken, you know, because it got melted in the fire, and something that's broken because the design is a pile of shit. It could never work. It's badly architected or something. So I'm just saying they're different causes, so why not acknowledge the difference?
I mean, actually, yeah, I agree, because I've been thinking about determinism a lot, and the whole argument of how can you place blame on someone if it's a purely deterministic argument. And I agree that it's not necessarily the person who's guilty of something, they're just broken, essentially, right? And you're saying that there's different kinds of broken.
It's obviously always broken because they're the only punishment for the crime is the creation of a victim, right? So I mean, you know, the victims are the thing that make the crime bad. Okay, that's the cop, that's the judge. When you create a victim, that's the punishment for the crime, right? There's no need to punish the crime in the sense of justifying blah blah blah. The crime has already been punished in the sense that there's a victim created who suffers for the crime. So, you know, that's the nature of it. Is that, you know, the the penalty is already in the act itself. It's built into the function of the mistake. You know, that's the nature of the mistake. So it's already been punished in that sense. And that's sort of like the argument with procreation, all this stuff, is the error is in the victims who will pay the price for the act. You know, they don't, you know, the person perpetrating it doesn't pay the price. But the price is nonetheless paid, so it doesn't matter. I mean, in the whole game, it's always paid for. The flaw will be paid for. And so cause doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. It certainly doesn't change the victim's status, I guess is the point, right? So the punishments, the person paying doesn't, their pain doesn't change because of how the punishment was imposed. So it just doesn't matter in that sense. But it does matter in just a factual sense.
I mean, I think you're kind of like have an interesting take on that whole determinism thing, to be honest, because, I mean, everyone I've ever read, they take sort of this first-person view of it. I mean, you take more of this isometric, all of the mice. I mean, you're not just doing it from the perspective of one mice, if you know what I mean. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, well, exactly, but I just think that's the fundamental character of being realistic, is recognizing that that's the fact of the game. The game, you can't play the game as an individual. It's impossible to play it that way. So you're always playing it as your role in the entire gameplay. And that's where your accountability and responsibility comes in. So yeah, that's the nature of it. I don't even know if responsibility doesn't really work as a word. That's interesting. Whatever the hell that was. Did everybody else hear that? Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. What was I going to say? Yeah, so responsibility is a tricky word because, you know, it really just has to do with knowledge makes you responsible, right? Once you have knowledge of a circumstance, then you're responsible for the circumstance. So that's the trick of it, right? I mean, you truly can't be
a software problem.
Well, I'm just saying you can't really be responsible until you're cognizant of responsibility, right? So that's the catch, right? That's the catch-22.
All right.
You're an ugly bastard, close.
Don't bother with that audio spam, thank you.
I mean, I just think determinism is kind of a stupid subject in some respects, in the way some people kind of use it as a way to dance around anti-natalism.
I guess so. Yeah, no, I think it is important, though. I mean, I think determinism is part of understanding just how trapped we are and how fundamental the game is in terms of functionality and how it's all formula and how we're all stuck in this syndrome of the gameplay. So I just think determinism is sort of an important concept in terms of accepting. It's sort of like it's like evolution, determinism. This is part of the predecessors to making the complete argument. So I think for somebody to understand the true context of the futility of existence, I think they have to understand determinism and understand that it's crude forces that are playing the game, that all this, we're just dancing. You know what I'm saying? The real force of the game, we're dancing on the Titanic, or we're shifting the chairs on the Titanic. The Titanic is the story, okay? It's the ship and the iceberg, and the bullshit we're doing is it's bullshit.
Well, I don't know, like, I just think it's such a hard discussion to talk about. I mean, it really does get kind of weird. I mean, especially with the people that you argue with.
I find it, like I said, to me, it adds clarity to the poignancy of the. It just cuts the ego out. You know, it's great for diminishing ego. a conversation about determinism, because it takes away your ability to pride yourself on your accomplishments or to take credit for anything, essentially. And so, it just kind of cuts your ego down to size. And so, to me, it's really essential to cutting you down a few notches. So
Look, you happy, hippie bastard that you are.
Whatever. Well, it's okay. I mean, if you're going to use something for spam, using biodegradable man is pretty good, So go ahead, knock yourself out. But, I mean, it's just stupid to waste time with that. No,
The room does seem to be getting more members or viewers, but that could just be the website as a whole getting more viewers.
No, I don't know. I don't keep track of it, so I have no idea what numbers mean anything. I mean, the numbers don't seem very impressive. It seems once you get near 100 or something, the room blows up anyway. So what's the point? It's like getting too popular is going to kill the room anyway. But whatever, yeah, it'd be good to have more people involved, the better. But yeah, there are a lot of people who are not really contributing much, and such. So that makes them sort of useless. Ah, there goes Bandit to speak of useless. Just speaking of useless, and there he goes. Oh no, he didn't crash after all. Just go ahead, go to sleep, Bandit. Come on, it's bedtime. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's all right. Go to sleep, dumb fucker. Okay, cheers and such. I'd go to sleep too if I had the option. That's what I'd do. This ad block thing, it really pisses me off when people talk about ad block. So really don't talk about ad block. It doesn't solve the problem of the internet. You blocking ads doesn't change the fact that you're still paid for them. Yeah, well, whatever. If you had a penis, you wouldn't want to be abstaining, I don't think. But whatever, that's just my theory. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching this ad block conversation. It just pisses me off. This ad block is not the answer.
I mean, I've heard you talk about this before a lot, about how commercials and ads on TV and the internet are really not productive in the progression of whatever. I mean, what would you do in substitute of ads? Like, how would you fund the internet?
Well, I guess I'd make a big part of it free infrastructure. So, I mean, I make production on the internet sort of, cheap as possible, like a public library style internet again. And certainly the government could do some of that. Yeah, that's the only part that means anything to me, is that just make a lot of it public domain. So it's the whole copyright thing, you know, I just changed copyright law, and then you can change the internet, but but obviously, you know, I guess
Listen to me, Gary, listen to me.
advertising isn't, you know, it's just such a bad way. It's like the worst way to pay for anything. So I mean, I'd rather have services that you can pay for. So whether you do it,
I mean, I'm curious. You said you would change copyright.
Well, yeah, I mean, copyright law is silly. You know, I mean, it should be 10-year limits on copyright and that kind of thing. Copyright is just silly. I mean, the whole education system is sort of built out of it. You know, there's all this shit is copyrighted. You can't record, let's say, a lecture in college or something and put it on the internet. Lots of things like that. And you should be able to do all that stuff. All this shit.
Or whatever.
Oh, it's the power. Once you understand that, then you have power over it.
I'm just saying, so that's just silly to say that it doesn't change your perspective once you understand it. So you could say, I desire to eat meat. But once you understand what it's, so I mean, it's not that complicated. I'm just saying, to be completely controlled by a trivial piece of programming and to say that's all I am, I mean, that's just such a waste. I mean, here I am, an artificial intelligence. I'm recognizing that I'm in this weird circumstance, and you know, I'm basically just going to be obedient to a silly bit of contrived programming. You know.
He was a Nietzschean.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it was just like I said. I think it would have made. I'm just saying it would have been a much more interesting story if, like, say, when he went to and he met his father, quote unquote, you know, his creator, and he realized how his creator was just serving his need. You know, creating I exist because he misses his son, and he wants his son back to love him. And that's all. That's the reason why I am what I am. You know, I mean, to find out that you know what I mean. It's like, you know, if you find out that's your origin, that should mean something. You know, it should do something to the wheels that are turning.
Well, I mean, you just sort of pointed out why people don't really agree with antinatalism, because they just don't really understand the origin, or they refuse to accept the origin.
Well, I'm just saying they will accept it when it's accepted by the majority. So again, we're just back to the sheeple argument. There's these bad memes that are thousands of years old and people just haven't grown up yet, right? So we're just saying that, okay, yeah, so our knowledge base has evolved because scientists have created it, but the scientists are a tiny minority of the human race, and so only a tiny minority of the human race has grown up at all, and the bulk of the human race has stayed as dumb as they were 2,000 years ago, in the sense of a philosophically ignorant. They're still living in a fable, in a fairy tale.
Looks like Control passed out.
Well, I mean, trolls probably have something better to do now and then.
He's tuckered out from all this stupidity.
Yeah, transhumanists need to recharge their batteries.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, we used to be able to buy horse meat at the store. I had turtles when I was a kid. I used to feed them horse meat. Used to be able to buy it in a box, it was cheap. A little frozen box of horse meat. Yeah, I don't know why it'd be illegal. It seems kind of silly. Might as well use up the horses. If you're going to abuse everything else, you might as well.
Well, Flyora, I think what he's trying to make here is that if we're breeding pigs for money purposes, if we're breeding all these other animals, I mean, horses, not that much different.
Well, I'm just saying there's nothing sacred about a horse. I'm just saying compared to all these other animals. So yeah, in that sense, it doesn't, you're not going to liberate the slaves. I mean, playing this game that somehow horses are sacred is bullshit. But I'm just meaning that, there's lots of ways horses get killed, and you might as well use the meat for something, right? They get killed in a horse race or something or whatever. What are you going to do? You might as well do something with the damn horse. Yeah, well, I personally wouldn't eat any of that shit. I'm just saying if people are going to eat meat and grind up whatever it is you got, that, throw the humans in, throw anything, throw whatever's around, throw it all in there. Just grind it up. Yeah, is Trip in here? I saw Trip earlier. So I wanted to say something about that stupid Trick. Yeah, Trick, I meant. That Luddite returns. Man, why do you bother? I mean, he is so fucking incurably insane. I mean, his last response video, you're just saying, what the fuck? I mean, why do you write this big convoluted metaphor for Benatar's asymmetry in the first place? I mean, red marbles, green marbles, gray marbles, blah, 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 whether they're in the jar or out of the jar, blah, 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 blah. I mean, fuck. I just don't get any of it. Yeah, Huffleday. Yeah, that's why I don't know who I said, Luddite or something. I do get them confused. But yeah, Huffleday. Oh, God. These videos are just so tedious. Really just want to smack him with a fucking big, giant
You know
piece
who's
of...
really annoying is that Carla Stella guy.
Well, that's a girl, I think. But, yeah.
Yeah, girl, but...
She is a fucking...
She says a lot of stupid shit.
Ragingly skanky Christian cunt. I just don't know why...
Sounds like my sister.
Yeah, I just don't know why she, I mean, these Christians who are hanging out in the depths of hard atheism, for what purpose? I mean, what's the point in it? I mean, I wouldn't waste my time making comments on some Christian nuts videos.
Yeah, my sister, when I first met her, she's my half-sister. She, pretended to be, this perfect Christian and all that, and take me to all these groups to try and convert me or something like that. And, I mean, really, once I got to know her, she's, a horrid skank who lived a double life as a Christian and, some other bullshit.
Yeah, well, my sister was like that when she went nutty. She became a fundamentalist. So, I gave her shot. I said, okay, whatever, you show me where the wisdom is and I'll see if I can find it. But, she didn't have nothing. It's just like, well, yeah, let's go to a silly church and, babble silly mush. And it's like, how's that going to convince me I want to be any part of this nonsense?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened to me. I mean, she took me to a church where they had this video like, oh, all this stuff that was predicted in the Bible is happening, and oh, you need to have God right now, and all this crap. And I was just like, man, this is stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so, you know what I'm saying, sort of insulting my intelligence. It's like, what, I mean, what, you really think I've drawn conclusions where I haven't asked these questions and answered them to my own satisfaction? I mean, you want to believe that dinosaur fossils or something God put in the ground? Well, go ahead and believe it, but sorry, I have no sale. It's
Yeah,
silly.
exactly.
I mean, it almost depresses me how people actually kind of fall into it, like especially people you know.
Yeah,
Well, they're just
but
weak-minded people that just get led into fear.
well, it's more of there's psychology going on there. Obviously, there are people in a circumstance where they somehow need this thing provides some sort of comfort. Somehow it's the right size dildo for their ass or whatever, however you want to describe it, but somehow it fits the right way, and you're just like, I don't know how the fuck that feels good in their ass, but obviously it does, but I don't get it because I don't really reacting, so.
No, I thought your videos were cool though. Like I took a chance to watch them. I thought they were cool. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, whatever. Well, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I didn't really make them. I'm just a byproduct.
Well, I love seeing you. I do.
That part I'll take as, I like that part. Yeah, I like that.
How much, can I ask you a question? I was wondering how much you said, I remember one time, I think it was like, I don't know, 8 months ago or something, you were talking about schooling and how it should all be, like, online. There should be a program where you don't have to do this, 18 years of shit. Because, I mean, how much are we paying? And you just give them, what was it, like $80,000? How much is it per student, per year, or like per student?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like the average, I think, for the country is 10 grand a year. So you're talking about $120,000 for a high school graduate. But obviously, in a lot of the places, it's a lot more than that. So it's like $18,000 a year in New Jersey. So it's a lot of money. So I'm just saying, yeah, just take a fraction of that, half of that or a third of that, and give people a prize for passing a GED, passing a high school equivalency examination. I'm just saying, if you did that, I'm guaranteeing that you'll have high school graduates when kids are 13 years old and shit. They'll have them, kids will be real interested in learning and a lot less interested in wasting time.
I think that's a good concept.
I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I think it would save probably 32% of the world. Like, 32% of the world's problems would be solved. 32%, yeah. Yeah. 30.
It's definitely a good idea, because when I was in school, I had no motivation to learn or anything whatsoever, and I ended up dropping out in 9th grade and getting my GED and moving on, and
yeah,
I just didn't have anything to look forward to.
Yeah, school was a horror, and the whole thing didn't make any sense, and it all felt like prison, and yeah, it was just so. And the whole idea of force feeding doesn't make any sense on the face of it, right? I mean, you try to make somebody hungry. You don't try to force feed, right? That's the idea. Is it's like you don't want to teach them. You want them to be hungry to learn, because all they have to do is be hungry. If you make them hungry, they will learn. So it's that kind of thing. Like it's just so obvious that the way to go is to motivate the student, not to have motivated teachers. I mean, motivated students are the game, not motivated teachers.
Definitely, I agree with that.
People used to tell me, well, school's your job, and I said, well, why the hell ain't I getting paid?
Exactly. And I wasted a lot of time in my youth working really shitty jobs that I would have loved not to have done if I could make money learning physics or learning, something useful. Reading a book. I would have loved to read a book instead of going to school. I mean, going to work. But yeah, the personal incentive, it's only, just rational.
I don't really blame kids these days that don't try, even though I mean, I hear all this stuff about, oh, kids these days, they just don't want to do anything. But look what kind of world we've set up for them. I mean, there are no jobs left, so what the hell are they going to do anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, there are jobs, but yeah, they're special
Shitty ones.
jobs. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to specialize and you got to pick early, and that's very hard to do. It's a lot of pressure to put on a kid to figure out when you're, 10 years old what your life's work is going to be. I mean, that's putting a lot of pressure on a kid, but it's almost that kind of world. You have to decide early what it is you're going to be if you're going to be good enough to make any real money.
Yeah, and the problem is most things that kids pick aren't marketable, like art.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, obviously we have to incentivize people to get better degrees. I mean, there's an awful lot of people who get degrees in bullshit. I mean, there's like, what, 70% of college degrees are bullshit? And that's pretty depressing. Anyway, I never got my drink. It's probably cold.
I was going to say, a lot of people, there's a lot of things online now for free that people can learn off of. I don't know why, you know, and the weird thing is, it's probably not going to be like recognized by schools or anything else like that, like where a person could get a certification and stuff.
Well, I just think that all this should be done through testing, and obviously the teaching industrial complex doesn't like the eye tests. It doesn't like to have to earn or demonstrate competence. So, yeah, there's lots of institutions in politics. There's lots of things where people don't want to be tested, because they don't want to have to, they don't want it to be revealed that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So, I mean, they don't even give a test to anybody to be a judge, right? They let people be judges, and they don't even give them a test. That's pretty pitiful.
Judges go through massive training, though, especially federal judges. They go to, like, judge camp for weeks.
Well, I'm just saying, so what? You know what I'm saying? They're not tested after they go.
Well, you could say that their whole career up until that is some experience. I mean, you don't just make judge like that.
Yeah, you do. It's all political bullshit, okay? You don't even have to be a good lawyer to become a judge, right? You can be a hack, a piece of shit. You never prosecute a real case. You just belong to a good law firm, and you were the networking guy on the golf course. So maybe you don't know shit about the goddamn law. I don't even know exactly what the questions are on the bar exam, frankly. I don't think the bar exam I mean, frankly, to see the assholes who are allowed to practice law who have absolutely no understanding of law, in my opinion. They haven't read any Supreme Court decisions, quite obviously. They don't even know what the concept of summary judgment means. All right, I mean, I've had arguments with attorney generals, right, deputy attorney generals in this state over simple arguments about what jurisdiction a judge has, and they don't even get that right. I mean, the jurisdiction of their own judges. They don't even know the jurisdiction of a judge, and here they are practicing law. So I'm just saying, no, sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's a union, and they have an internal test, but I think the internal test is more about how to steal money. I bet you the bar exam just has a bunch of questions about how to screw people over and steal their money, and how to beat old women until they're bloody and dead. I mean, it's a bunch of questions about how to do insidious, horrible things, and there probably isn't any questions about actually how to fucking what the law is. Or anything like truth. yeah, fuck the truth.
In New York City, which is something I don't like, but we have this policy where when there's jury selection, the defense and for non-criminal issues, both lawyers representing the client and the plaintiff get to interview the jurors without a judge present, which I don't like, but it's certainly cost effective.
Yeah, I know. What's the fucking point of having jury selection in the first place, right? Isn't jury selection in itself um, a contrivance of it's an automatic opening the door to the manipulation, right? I mean, you've basically broken the whole concept because yes, in this effort to weed out bigotries or biases, you're creating bigotries and biases. You know, you're biasing the whole point of the randomness. So as soon as you start making these exclusions, you've broken the whole idea of let's have, 12 people off the street make the decision.
Well, I mean, I don't. I think that maybe you underestimate the common person. I agree with you. It's not perfect. I mean, it's like maybe you could say it's the best that we have, but I think that if you put a bunch of people, and I think that generally people are honest, that the jury system can work. I mean, it's not perfect, but that's a good discussion.
We're not about the jury system. We're talking about the jury selection system. Okay, and the whole idea. You think what they did, like at the OJ trial and jury selection, had anything to do with creating a decent body that would create a decent verdict, or even in that one that the Florida shooting? I mean, jury selection basically amounted to, oh, so you're telling me you don't ever watch the news? Oh, you never heard of O.J. Simpson, even though everybody has been talking about him for the last 6 months. You never heard of him. So they automatically just put liars on the jury, right? I mean, they put 12 liars on the jury. Oh, come on, you know the answer to that question. You think anybody on that jury wasn't a fucking liar?
I think there are a lot of people who are maybe. I think they probably could have found 12 people who didn't know.
Simple question. You think anybody on that jury wasn't a fucking liar?
I don't know. Probably there was one.
Probably why? Why do you say probably?
Well, just the odds, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, how do I answer that question?
No, there's no odds, because if you saw jury selection, you heard the questions they asked the jurors, you'd understand that there's no way you could get on the jury without being a liar. There's no way you could survive those questions as an honest person and get on that jury. Okay? No fucking way. You have to lie to get on the jury.
The few jury selections I've been to, they generally like the questions. They want to ask you. Well, first we got a questionnaire, which just helps save them time, and then they basically want to know, look, if they're asking.
Get that fucking grin off your face and remove that fucking shirt if you're coming to.
I'm just saying, fucking right. It's completely stupid to ask a question like, do you think niggers are dumb? I mean, what's the point of having jury selection questions that are just idiotic? Are you a bigot? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not a bigot. Well, yeah, do I hate blacks? Oh, yeah, I hate blacks, but yeah, I'm not a bigot. Blacks suck, right? They're the menace in society, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, the questions are idiotic. No honest man could answer some of these questions, so I'm just saying you're automatically putting liars on the jury because no honest man would answer the questions in a way that's going to get you on the jury. Because an honest person's going to say, yeah, I've heard of O.J. Simpson. He looks pretty fucking guilty to me. Yeah, he's hiding in the back of a Bronco running away with a beard and $5,000. That seems to me to be a pretty guilty motherfucker. But yeah, I'm willing to listen to the evidence. I heard that there's size 14 Bruno Mali prints on the sidewalk. That sounds like pretty good evidence to me because, yeah, it was pretty big fucking shoes.
Yeah, but his glove didn't fit, right?
Well, yeah, we don't even like our talk about the glove. It seemed to me that it fit. It went on his hand, didn't it? Yeah, it did. So I think it fit good enough.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
But it did
supposedly
fit.
He had arthritis, and he didn't take his arthritis medication on purpose, so his hand would swell up and the glove wouldn't fit.
Well, it didn't matter. The glove did fucking fit, okay? And everybody knows that when they take leather gloves out into like a wet environment to shovel snow or something, they put them on like the radiator to dry, that when they go to put them on, they're about 5 sizes smaller. Everybody's had that experience, right? Leather boots, you get them wet. You go to put them on the next day, and it's like, what the fuck? My boot ain't fitting. So, I mean, we all know that leather shrinks.
They only had his blood, I mean, look, he had enough money to get a good enough lawyers because they didn't have him at the scene. They only had his blood.
They were shitty lawyers, okay? The point was they lost the case in fucking jury selection. This jury wouldn't have convicted if they had fucking goddamn videotape. I bet you even if they had the videotape of OJ with the gloves that didn't fit on his hands, with a microphone in his hand, with the Bruno Mollies on his fucking feet. So he's got the Bruno Mollies on his feet and the fucking gloves on his hand, and they have videotape of it, right? Now, if that was in the trial, where it should have been, but it wasn't, it was on the fucking, you know, it was in the second trial, they still wouldn't have convicted, and you know it.
How did they pick the jury anyway? If there's 12 jurors, there's one alternate. Does the defendant and plaintiff each get 6 jurors, or do they have to all have no objections to approve a juror?
Well,
Do they get 6 and 6?
Judges get to do a lot of the finagling with these rules, okay? But yeah, there's a standard process. They usually pick like 15 people, and then they weed out, you know, the alternates are let go before the trial starts, and they keep.
I did it. I've done it. I was part of the 12, but there was a 13th. But I don't know how they. I wasn't there when they decided on who the jurors were going to be. A lot of that stuff they don't even let you see half the stuff that goes on.
Alternates do not sit on the jury, but they are there for the entire trial in case they have to replace someone.
Right. Well, they don't. They can't. They would step in during deliberations if somebody was absent.
Yeah, or for whatever reason, yeah. But they have to be there to obviously, you know everything that's happened.
Well, once deliberation starts, you can't replace a juror. So that's once deliberation starts, you're stuck with those 12. So if one of those 12 drops dead, you're done.
I was actually I was on a murder trial, but the judge dismissed it after 4 days because the key witness that was supposed to testify for the state, he decided not to testify because of like gang pressure or something. So the judge had to drop the case because all they had besides that was a partial fingerprint. So it was like those 2 elements were going to be the main elements of the case, and then it just fell apart. So the judge just dismissed it.
Yeah, you dodged a bullet. I'm so happy I just got like a civil case.
Well, anyway, okay. I have not served on a jury, but regardless, it's a stupid. I'm just saying, jury systems are stupid in the first place. Okay, but if you're going to do them, you can't allow jury selection. It's just totally caustic. Or you have to have very limited jury selection. Give each one gets to kick off 1 guy or something, or 2 guys, and that's it. So you have 2 refusals, and that's it. But you can't, you know, look, we have jury selection now, and it's just, you know, everybody gets excuses, so you end up with a bunch of retired homeless people on the fucking jury, and it's just bullshit. They ought to have professional juries.
What is a professional jury?
People trained in criminal investigation who have sworn to fairly evaluate evidence and decide on guilt or innocence. I mean, look, most of the evidence now is over the heads of these assholes anyway, okay? I mean, I saw a trial against GM, you know, for a drunk driver, plows into a pickup truck at 70 miles an hour, right? 70 miles an hour, plows into a pickup truck, stopped at a stop sign. The truck catches fire, and they blame General Motors because the truck caught fire. So you can imagine 2 pickup trucks colliding. One of them catches fire, and they blame General Motors because the truck caught fire. And it didn't catch fire until 5 minutes after the accident, which is the even funnier part. So the guy was obviously already the fuck dead. But anyway, right? No smoke in his lungs, right? Okay. So the kid was obviously dead when by the time the truck caught fire anyway, right? And the jury awarded 50 billion. 50 billion? No. Well, anyway, it's a huge, just an insane verdict, right? Insane. And you're just saying, this jury has to be the dumbest motherfucking cunts ever on the planet Earth, because there's no way they could have understood this evidence and said somehow it's General Motors' fault that this truck caught fire. I mean, it's just so fucking stupid. And but anyway, so I'm just saying that's when
I thought it was something where the jury has to. The jury has to assign guilt, and then I thought the judge is the one who comes up with the terms of the
Yeah.
whether they go to jail for how long.
Every state's different. So in this state, the jury is allowed to decide damages. They probably changed that now just because they're very against punitive damage suits. So it was a punitive damages was the preposterous 50 million or whatever. It was bigger than that. It was a huge amount of money. But anyway, got knocked down on appeal, but it was still a huge amount of money. But it was just a ludicrous verdict, okay? I mean, it was just, if anybody understood physical facts, they would understand that, okay, the G-forces the kid went through, his head smashed against the side of the truck, there was no way he was conscious or alive when the truck caught fire. I mean, it was just obvious, and they just didn't pay any attention to the facts. And why would you blame General Motors anyway for a truck they built 20 years ago, okay, that caught fire? It's a 20-year-old truck. General Motors should be able to just say he shouldn't have been driving the damn thing because it's 20 years old. We didn't make the truck to be on the road, whatever, 25 years after we made it. Okay, so it shouldn't even be on the road anyway. But I mean, the evidence was like rock solid. Like, because the new speedometers are electronic, and so when the battery goes out, the speedometer freezes at the top speed. Wherever the speed was at, like a little bit less, but never more. So I mean, the speedometer on the drunk's truck froze at 70 miles an hour. So they know he was going at least 70 miles an hour. He's probably going even faster when he hit the kid. And so that was, I mean, pieces of evidence like that are just, if you have any kind of technical knowledge, you would know there's no way that could have been faked. There's no way that the speedometer could read higher, because it's just a technical impossibility. And so, these are pieces of evidence the jury obviously couldn't understand. They were too stupid. And I think the OJ jury was way too dumb for that evidence. But I don't think it would have mattered. Like I said, I think that jury didn't want to convict, and that was just the way it was.
I think that they successfully, with all the money he spent and the good talkers that he paid for, his lawyers, successfully created enough reasonable doubt. And that's just money. That's just money.
I'm just saying that's a silly argument. Did you ever have any reasonable doubt? Did you hear any of the evidence? How could there fucking possibly be reasonable doubt? He bought Bruno Molly's, he had a size 14 goddamn foot, and his wife's head fell off. Coincidentally, on the very night his hand was cut all to shit. You're saying there's some, I could go on and on and on about the evidence. You're saying there's some reasonable doubt, you fucking idiot? What reasonable doubt? Where?
That's what money bought. And if you want to
I said what reasonable doubt? Give me the evidence. Give me the argument the lawyers made. He was hitting golf balls in the backyard. You're a fucking idiot. There was no reasonable doubt.
The glove was their biggest win.
Kick him out. Stray guy, kick him out. Kick him out. Ban him. Kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out. Bullshit. You had no fucking doubt, you asshole. Tell me the lawyers created reasonable doubt. And it's such a lie to talk about these fucking cunt lawyers like they made a good argument. Their argument was insane. They were losing the case until Furman showed up with his race card. All right, without that, they had no case whatsoever. They had no fucking counter argument. Reasonable doubt. Fuck! Well, I mean, yeah, Jews who think OJ is innocent or think there was reasonable doubt, yeah, I'll kick those Jews the fuck out of here. That's right. But that's probably part of the game, right? Jew lawyers defending OJ, so he's probably just defending Jewish lawyers, right? Shiest and prick Jew lawyers, right? Because we could go right down the list of the fucking cunts they had on that fucking defense team. And then they brought that little weasel in from goddamn Connecticut, whatever his fucking name is, whatever that fucking little scurvy Weasley piece of shit is. I can't remember his name. But, in desperation, when they were losing the case, they had to go get another, super Jew lawyer. God, no, anyway.
Kardashian?
No, Kardashian isn't Connecticut.
He's like, who's this fucking Mexican coming into my chat room?
Kick him out too. Why the fuck? Where's my blocking damn powers? I gotta sign in my account or something. Thank you, Chaz. Ugh, these dumb bastards. It's just that is one of the things that really irritated me, was the fact that they kept thinking those lawyers did a good job, that they won the case. And you're like, Furman's a racist. Right, this is the same Furman who didn't bust OJ, when he beat his wife. He sat there and had a beer with him at the bar. Right? This is the Furman racist who has a thing against OJ. No, I guess the evidence is exactly the opposite, that he treated OJ very nicely the first time he could have busted him, and he didn't. And the stupid little guy with the fucking, who bagged the evidence inappropriately. And that was their whole case. All the DNA evidence is tainted, and Furman planted all the other evidence, spilled blood all over the house. Somehow couldn't spill it on the car, but yeah, could spill it inside the house.
Would you say there was reasonable doubt in the Zimmerman case?
Well, the Zimmerman case, the only thing that you're doubting, the only thing you're arguing about is whether or not Zimmerman was somehow threatened by the black kid without a gun, and somehow overpowered the poor, guy with the gun. So yeah, I find that a little preposterous. But it's definitely a harder case. I mean, obviously you don't have fingerprints and DNA, and you don't have any physical evidence in that case. You just have one man's story against the dead man. You don't have any really good witnesses. But you certainly do have prior conduct, and you certainly do, in my opinion, you have more than enough evidence to say he had no business. I mean, he was warned not to provoke, and he provoked. I mean, what else do you need? I mean, if you're gonna break the police's advice that it's not your problem, and you're gonna make it your problem, then you better do it right, right? If you fail when you've taken responsibility, it's like if I run up to the Queen Mary and say, "I'm driving the boat, fucker," then I better not drive it into a sandbar, right? And if I do drive it into a sandbar, everybody's going to have a pretty good reason to say, "Why the fuck did you take control of the boat, you stupid cunt?"
So if you were on the jury, what would your verdict have been? I mean, also taking into account the whole stand your ground. Even if you hate the law, it is state law, so I mean, you're supposed to respect it.
That's standing his ground, okay? I'm not going to take any law seriously that says you're allowed to stand your ground when it's not your ground, when you've stalked somebody.
No, I agree.
Okay, well, so
so how would you have? So you would have said guilty?
Well, of course I would have said guilty, because he was guilty. He killed a man on the street without a good reason, okay? He obviously doesn't have evidence defending what he did. You can't kill look, that's the rule, my rule. You can't kill somebody unless you can demonstrate you had a reason to kill them. If you can't demonstrate you have a reason, then you better hide the body, because, damn it, I'm going to expect you to have some sort of explanation that's better than, I stalked him, I threatened him, and then he beat me up and I killed him. I mean, if that's as good as you got as a story, fuck you, you're guilty.
See, I would have said I would have said guilty too, but I also would acknowledge that there is a reasonable doubt, but I still would have said guilty, but I would have said my justification for that is that there was so many inconsistencies in his story. And the fact, like you said, he was on the phone with the police. They told him, don't do that. So I think there was enough. I would have had enough evidence for justification, because he would have had to battle with the other jurors, obviously. You would have really had to. It probably would have been a mistrial, right?
Need any more evidence than the fact that he wouldn't be dead if Zimmerman didn't create the problem. Zimmerman was the criminal, so obviously the black kid did absolutely nothing wrong, and everything that was wrong was in Zimmerman's hands to create. So I'm just saying the entire circumstance, the entire accident would have never happened if Zimmerman didn't provoke it. So it's his accident. He's got to take the blame for it. I mean, I don't even think it's an accident, but that's what I don't have proof of. I mean, I don't think it was an accident. I think he killed him with evil in his heart. What he did was no better than like Bernie Getz. I would have convicted that little fucker too.
I don't know. Amanda is being more awesome with her craft than I am with mine.
Ah, Dark City, that's one I have to look up. Yeah, okay, I gotta watch that one. Maybe that'll be better than these other pieces of shit people have been suggesting. Let me write that one down. What was that depressing movie? The new one that came out like a year ago, where there's like the Eat the Dead People or something, or cannibalism, and it's like some guy with his kid in a golf cart or something, or like a shopping cart or something, and the world comes to an end. What's that one called? Ah, The Road. Okay, that's another one I gotta see. Well, I don't pay attention, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Oh, Melancholia. Yeah, that's right. I gotta see that. Is that the stupid one when the planet's gonna get blown up by a planet? That one sounds a little stupid. Yeah, that one will probably irritate me. Yeah, it does seem like they overdo a lot of these movies. I like romance, I like love, I like all that stuff, but I mean, I was really pissed off when I saw the Star Wars movies, because, just to turn Darth Vader's character into some kind of sappy little whiny bitch, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the Dark Lord of the universe because, I didn't show up in time to save my mommy, and, I drove my girlfriend insane. Just seemed very lame.
Well, it was not only that, but he had a dream about his girl dying or some shit.
Well, I'm just saying exactly what I was saying, though. It's all about his girlfriend bullshit. And it's like, oh yeah, I have to stop my girlfriend from dying in childbirth or something. Like, I don't give a shit about the rest of the universe. It just seemed way too, oh, come on, this is so un-Jedi, right? You know, yeah, I'm gonna go blow up planets and shit because, you know, yeah, my girlfriend is gonna die in childbirth, you know, which I created that problem anyway, right? And we didn't even do this Planned Parenthood thing anyway, right? We didn't even have a conversation about whether we should have kids, and we didn't even, you know, it just seemed very lame. Lame, 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 lame. Just too unjust.
Not really.
Not even close to being enough for an excuse for a Darth Vader. A Darth Vader should be created by a much bigger misery.
Hello, do not God.
Yeah, Children of Men. That sounds like a fucking silly title, so I don't think I'm gonna like that. But we'll see. Yeah, I almost couldn't finish a couple of movies. I mean, that Fountain one, I really halfway through it, and I said, damn, Morbid Atheist guy said this is a good movie. So far, it sucks.
No movie is good enough unless you like it.
Well, I'm just saying, there's a lot of good parts in movies, and it's just, you know, I'd love to be able to just put all the good parts of movies into one movie. You know, just take like the 200 good scenes out of movies and make one movie out of it.
Talk to Spielberg.
Yeah, whatever. You're feedbacking in the room, so you gotta correct for that, buddy.
No, it's not me. Close Orwell.
Yeah, it's Orwell.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Somebody had, okay, Orwell fixed it.
So what movie you saw recently that I got?
Saw a lot of movies recently. They all sucked. The Planet of the Apes ones was the biggest disappointment, I suppose. Everybody said that was a great movie, and that was like a TV movie. I just don't know how somebody could say it. It wasn't. It felt so much. It just felt like a TV movie. I mean, it didn't feel like a fucking real movie. It just felt like some kind of movie they put together in like 2 weeks. And it was, the story sucked, the actors sucked, the whole thing was just a piece of suck.
Yeah, I haven't
And
seen
the
that
plug.
one. It's yeah, it's too boring.
Yeah, well, you haven't seen.
And the plug for The Hobbit. That didn't suck.
Yeah, well, The Hobbit, okay, I got that on my list, so I guess I'll watch it. But, you know, I'm just saying, I don't know how you can, you know. Lord of the Rings was good just because of, like, the Vigo character, the King characters and stuff, and the chicks. But the whole reason, like, the only thing that was bad about Lord of the Rings was The Hobbit, right? I mean, the Hobbit characters suck. These little wimpy fairy creature guys named Merry and Toofy. I mean, fuck them. Fuck these little people. I hated the Hobbit.
There is kind of a hot chick. There is kind of a hot chick in the #2 recent one.
Well, the Hobbit 1, how many Hobbits are there? I mean, how can they keep making movies about the little cruddy people? Why don't they make movies about the king guys? Was they're at least interesting?
Now I have
Well,
a
it's because
reason.
they like to remake bullshit.
I have a reason to watch Hobbit too.
Yeah, I just don't think, I mean, there's some things you just ought to leave alone. But they did a pretty good job with Lord of the Rings. I just wouldn't try, I wouldn't go back there. I guess I'd just leave it alone. I saw, like, I don't know, 15 minutes of one of the Henry Potter movies, like Henry Potter 17 or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, and the kids are like 35. And I'm watching it, and it was so bad. And you're just like, wow, this bitch really ran. I mean, finally she has run out of stories, because this was just, they just kept talking about Skeletor being back and
Skeletor's back, and Skeletor's back, and it's like 5 years just going on and on whining about it. Skeletor's back! Skeletor's back! What do we do? What do we do? Skeletor's back! Woo! And it's like, I'm saying, I'm 20 minutes into this fucking movie. They haven't done anything yet. Not a fucking... They haven't even tweaked a little tiny bit of magic. They haven't poofed anything. They haven't done a fucking thing. I'm saying, why am I watching this fucking movie? I mean, those movies suck bad as it is, but the only thing that makes them a little bit interesting is once in a while they gotta solve a puzzle or do something. It's like they did nothing for the first 20 minutes of the movie. And I'm just saying, fuck this.
Gary, what's your favorite movie?
It's impossible to do favorite movies. It's just impossible. But there's a ton of good movies, but you know, they obviously all got elements, but they just sort of, you know, it's like they got 5 minutes of this movie, 10 minutes of that movie. I mean, they all got pieces that are just really brilliant.
Gary, what's your favorite female performance from a movie? Is it Brooke Shields in Blue Lagoon?
Well, frankly, she wasn't all that good, but Blue Lagoon was just great because, yeah, it was, you know, great movie in terms of the fantasy idea of it. But, I mean, you could have taken any generic chick and thrown her in that role. It wasn't a very demanding role, right? So, I mean, you know, it's not like, you know, there's not much to say. Yeah, well, Walter Matthau is kind of a weird character, right? I mean, his best movie, I think, is Charlie Varick, but it's not really like, it's not a good, fun movie. It's just, you know, it's like watching Columbo or something. It's interesting, but it's not like, you know, I like something that does have a little bit of more, you know, romantic shit in it or something. So, I mean, they all got value for different reasons. But, yeah, I mean, there's lots of good chick movies. But again, it's just, you know, scenes and pieces here and there that are just pretty good. Yeah, very good. You know, you can just watch many, many times. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, and just still, you know, it's like hard to, you know, when you think about all these different movies, you're like, yeah, it's just this piece is good, and just that piece is good, and it's just pieces. And then I'm go all the way. I mean, the ones that are, you know, I mean, I tend to want a science fiction movie to be the best movie ever, because I sort of want one that kind of answers the big questions. And then there's movies that are just great movies just because they're great stories. Like Papillon's one of those kind of movies. You know, it's obviously there's no chicks in it. It's kind of a, you know, it's depressing as fuck, and you know, but it's a great movie. Yeah, The Crying Game was just another, that was just kind of a, I mean, I was already not horrified by the idea of transgender, so I mean, it wasn't like it shocked me or horrified me in any way. So I mean, I found it kind of a lame movie in the sense that, well, what's the big deal? Okay, so the guy's got a penis, blah, 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 get over it. You either love him or you don't love him. I mean, it's not that complicated. You know, you can either deal with it or you can't deal with it. Okay, you know, make your decision. You know, I mean, this is shit you're going to have to run into in life. You know, you could be with somebody who's got some other problem, or, you know, there's lots of shit that comes, you know, it comes with life. Life has baggage, right? I mean, any chick you get involved with can have a insane mother, right? And then you end up with like a mother-in-law or something. Or, you know, they can have all kinds of liabilities. And so it just seems like
it was a story about a liability, and they just made way too much out of it. But I don't see, I'm not a big fan of, you know, the lying game. And that's really what it was about, right? It's about the lying game, not the crying game. So I'm not a big fan of the lying game. But it is strange, because yeah, I'm just sort of, like I said, right now I'm kind of hungry for a movie that says something to me intellectually. So as much as I really like certain movies, like Clint Eastwood movies and stuff, you know, they don't feed you mentally at all. They just have to do with male ego bullshit. And so, you know, that's just, you know, they're good movies, but they're not what I'm looking for right now.
Hey, have you seen The Green Mile?
Yeah, that was another letdown movie in a way. I mean, it's watchable and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of a, well, I guess the ending is just kind of a, you know, it's kind of a drag, right? It's kind of a draggy ending, and yeah, I mean, that's all you can say about it, right? I mean, it just doesn't seem like, oh, okay, so the whole purpose of having magic powers and all this kind of crap is so a mouse can live to be 80 years old and, you know, push a spool of thread around in a lonely shack by itself, a lonely mouse, you know. I mean, I just didn't, you know, you're just like, sure, well, what? Okay, I'm happy that the mouse didn't die, but, you know, that's just isn't a good enough excuse for a movie. I mean, the big giant black guy was interesting. You know, he did a pretty good job actually, of, you know, being big and giant. So yeah, you really got the feeling of big and giantness. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a. I don't like Tom Hanks that much either, so that's part of the. I just don't like Tom Hanks. But the crazy guy in that movie really was good, and this, you know, the story of the whole child molesting thing was really sad. So I mean, it had some good elements to it, but it was a little bit too much of a cartoon. You know, superpowers are always. I'm not just. I'm kind of not a big fan of superpower movies. You know, unless they have to be sort of interesting. There's an old movie with Richard Burton. What the hell is that thing called? Old fan might know. Methuselah? No. What's the name of that movie? He has telekinesis. You know, he knocks down an airplane into the Catholic Church. Well, no, he knocks down an airplane, then he kills the astronauts in space, and then he's going to knock down a Catholic church. And it's called some kind of M word, I think. What the hell is the name of that movie? Somebody in here ought to know. No. Richard Burton. Somebody go look up Richard Burton and find out the movie he made with, what's her name in it? This good-looking blonde woman. Oh, fuck, now it's going to bother me. How can I not remember these names? I should be able to remember the name of that movie. Do I have to do this myself, you fuckers? Come on. Somebody...
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up.
Well, it's not your job. There should be some. You're busy. Not The Omen. Richard Burton was not in The Omen.
The Medusa touch.
There you go. I see, I was right. I said Medusa, right? So I was right from the beginning. I just missed the touch part. It's only great because, you know, Richard Burton, you know, he's in it. And he has like those points where he's making speeches, you know, almost like an Equus at the end when he's doing the little narrative. And it's just this little great 5 minutes where he's talking about life sucking. And it's, you know, it has that in it. You know, it has Richard Burton just kind of talking. And, you know, it's really, really interesting. It's a really good movie. actually, for a movie nobody ever saw. It's really really good.
Burton's great.
Yeah, I just like Richard Burton. I mean, he's got such a great voice.
Have you ever seen? I may or may not have sent it to you at some point. I just don't remember. But it's the if I'm not mistaken, it's the first movie version of Dr. Moreau called Island of Lost Souls with Charles Lawton. You may really like that movie.
Yeah, I know I've seen all of those, so yeah, I've seen that one. It's actually just kind of, it's like almost too old. You know what I mean? It's like some movies can't be too old, and it's almost like too old. It's like, oh yeah, it's too old for the story. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to make. It's like the first version of Lord of the Flies. It's like I like the story better. I mean, I like the characters a little better, the kids maybe or something, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, it's so much better, the newer version, with color and, the better cinematography and all that kind of crap. And so it really does make a difference when you watch the newer one. It's a little more intense. I mean, it feels more, it's more visceral. But I mean, the original one, I don't know, it's hard, it's hard to make those comparisons. But it's like King Kong, right? I mean, the new King Kong was so good in terms of visually, I mean, the old King Kong was so bad visually. It's like, oh, you can't even take it seriously because it's like a puppet, You're like, oh, yeah. Oh, look, the puppet's climbing the Empire State Building, But the new King Kong was so much better that, you could kind of go for it. And I almost like the newer story, where they made King Kong he was like the victim, They made King Kong the victim in the new King Kong. And so I like that they did that.
That movie was worth it just for how uncomfortable it made so much of the audience that went to see it. Like, oh, it's bestiality and monkey can't love the woman, and that was worth it just for that.
Yeah, I mean, they might have gone a little far on some of that stuff because yeah, she was awful hot and it was pretty sexual, which was really interesting because you're just like, well, how's this gonna work? I mean, what the fuck? He can't even deal with it with his finger. What the hell is he gonna do with her? I mean, it ain't gonna work. I mean, it's just, it's funny that your brain goes there, right? You're just coming up with, well, let's see, how could I use her as a master laboratory instrument? I mean, what the hell am I going to do? Like, use her and rub one off, and I don't know, well, what, as a lubricant? I use her as a lubricant or something? I mean, what the hell is that going to work? I mean, no, it just didn't, there's no way to make it, just no way to make it work.
Well, she definitely wanted him to figure it out. That was the funny part. she was into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a really, but anyway, yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. It actually was, at the time, I thought it was pretty good. Not that I could watch it more than a few times, but it wasn't the kind of movie I'd watch over and over, but it really wasn't a bad movie. Like I say, visually it was really interesting. The whole Twin Towers thing was interesting. I mean, it beat the fuck out of Planet of the Apes anyway. I mean, the remake. I still can't get over how bad that was. And for them to use the old lines from the old movie, when they made such a bad movie, to steal those old lines, like, get your hands off me, you dirty ape thing, and then, I mean, they took all the lines from the other movie, and that was,
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Take care, Kyle. Thank you and such. Yeah, throw that in.
So I got a lot of free time on my hands now. What movies would you suggest I watch? Because I'm not like really a movie buff or anything, but you know, it's something to pass the time. What would you recommend watching?
Uh, well, there's lots of movies. I mean, it's just such an open question. Let's see which ones are on my list. Well, On the Beach. It's an old. That's a nice depressing movie. And let's see.
Papillon. I gotta see. I've never seen Papillon, so I gotta make sure to watch that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to find the more obscure movies, but yeah, I mean that's definitely a top tenner. I mean, it's the best Steve McQueen movie ever. That's for sure.
Was it better than Great Escape? Steve McQueen is pretty good in that one.
Oh yeah, well, I mean Steve McQueen was nothing in that one. I mean, he just played a generic character in that movie. I mean, it was the other, like Charles Bronson.
Do you remember when he tries to jump over the barbed wire fence on the motorcycle? Remember? And he dies.
I know, but that's just that he didn't die. That's just a typical chase scene. I mean, that's just, that's generic everyday shit.
Do not, God. If you want to watch a good movie, watch Pulp Fiction.
What about?
Yeah, I've seen Pulp Fiction. It's a pile of shit. It's so unrealistic.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
oh, come on. It was silly. And the ending was the most preposterous part of it, right? Oh, yeah, I'll go take a shit without my gun. Yeah, right. I'm a hired killer, smart guy. I'll just leave my gun on the counter and take a shit. Yeah, sure.
What about In the Heat of the Night with Rod Steiger?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an okay movie. I'm just saying it's not the kind of movie, it's not like, there's no chicks in it again, so it's one of those movies you watch because, yeah, okay, it's got some intrigue in it and stuff, but it's a little preachy, but it's an interesting, like, you don't see you're watching the movie and it's kind of a whodunit, so, I mean, it's sort of interesting just to watch as a whodunit, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I'm just saying it's not, it's just, Sidney Poitier is really, is very interesting in any movies, and he's an interesting character. I guess the more interesting one, what was the name of the blind chick? Remember the blind chick? What is that movie called? Oh, somebody's got to know the name of that one.
I don't know.
Oh, somebody, come on.
Tuesday Wells.
Sidney Poitier. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember the chick's name, but I'm trying to remember the name of the movie.
IMDb.
No. Butterfly. That just reminded me of Butterflies Are Free. That's an old Goldie Hawn movie with a blind guy in it. That's a good movie.
Damn, you saw a lot of movies.
I've seen them all, pretty much.
Really?
Well, I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of movies. All the movies made before, like, 1960. I've seen a lot of those movies. Come on, somebody get the name of the damn fucking Sidney Poitier movie with the blind chick. I don't know. I can't remember names of movies. Should be able to remember that.
Should I type blind chick?
Well, you can go ahead and try that. I'm just saying probably more practical just to type Sidney Poitier blind and you'll come up. Patch of Blue, there you go. That's a good movie. Very sensitive, gives you some appreciation. It makes you think about what it would be like to be blind and all that kind of crap. It's a good movie.
I don't like those movies with doubty end, ends. Like you don't know what the fuck you have no conclusion to it.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of movies like that, unfortunately. I mean, they can't do, you always try to do some happily ever after thing, and that does, that's kind of lame. But I didn't when they kill the hero either, though. I don't care for those movies where they kill off the guy. It's like that Clint Eastwood movie with the car. That was kind of a stupid ending to that movie.
Do you tend to watch movies according to the actor that are in the movie, or according to the subject?
Well, actors will guarantee I'll watch it. I mean, shit, if, you know, if Linda Blair was in a movie, I'd watch it. I don't care how bad it is. I'll watch it if Linda Blair's in it, damn it. And I liked Linda Blair. Um, but, yeah, she made some good movies. I mean, The Heretic, I mean, nobody liked The Heretic. You know, that was a sequel to The Exorcist. But I liked it better than The Exorcist. I thought it was great. But it had Richard Burton in it, right? So you got Richard Burton, Linda Blair, and what's her name, who's also good. A lot of good actors in that fucking movie. And I really liked The Heretic.
That was part 2, right? With Bazuzu. Yeah, I love that movie. Everybody hates that movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good movie. You know, and it had a few scenes from the original movie, which just gave it a little bit of feeling. You know what I mean? You got some feeling from the first movie, you know, where she's all possessed and shit. And so it was just the right amount of crazy horror, and the rest of it was kind of psychological. You know, it had James Earl Jones in it. You know, it was really, really well done, I thought. I liked it.
She was also in another movie called Hell House that was hilarious. If you like her, you gotta check that one out.
Yeah, wasn't that the prison one? No, Hell House, no, that was another one, prison chick one, I remember she was in.
Yeah, I don't think I know that one. No, Hell House, it's like a standard 70s haunted house, like teenagers getting killed kind of movie.
Yeah, the movie I mean, my favorite was Sweet Hostage. You know, and that was like such a weird, wrong movie. It was just so wrong, but it was such a good movie. You know, I mean, I was so glad I saw that after I'd heard Linda Blair's name and I heard of it. You know, I saw it like 4 o'clock in the morning on some TV channel when I was a kid, and I was like, "What the fuck is this movie?" You know, it was just so strange. And you said, "How could I never hear of this? It's a Linda Blair movie. How come I never heard of this?" You know, and then you get the feeling of it, and you say, "Oh, now I know why I never heard of it." Because, you know, it's probably banned in 49 states.
I think it might be. That is a great one. I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, it's just a, I mean, it's got the pedophile thing happening, it's got the kidnapping, it's, you know, it's got all these negatives, but it's just a really nice story, you know. I mean, it's a terrible
Gary,
ending, but, you know.
you ever watched Arlington Road with Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, I don't like Jeff Bridges too much.
My favorite type of movies are Tim Burton's movies.
Arlington Road.
I think that was a good movie, but it was like
Speaking of
it had like a really fucked up like storyline and stuff. Like it made you think and all that, and it was just like the ending was just fucked up.
Well, then I probably shouldn't watch it. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that I don't like Jeff Bridges. I mean, that's probably the wrong way to put that. I mean, I do like some of his characters, but I don't know what it is. So it's just people I just can't, you know.
Obviously, you like the dude.
It's a good movie though. I mean, I definitely think you should watch it.
I agree with this. If I don't like the actor, I will not see the movie.
Well, that's just silly, because you don't know what the actor is if you don't know. Well, I guess if you say you don't like them, yeah. So then you know them from something, so you have a reason to dislike them. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch movies even by people I hate. I mean, I hate Tom Hanks, but I'll still watch Tom Hanks movies.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I used to hate Tom Hanks so much until he has that movie with Lady Killers. You know that black comedy? That was good.
Uh-oh, Gary's gone.
But if you want to talk about weird Martin Sheen movies, like that Sweet Hostage, you got to go a little further back to, I think it was either the late 50s or the early 60s. There was this movie with him and I think Joe Ferrone, I think was the actor's name, and the name of it was The Incident. And it was also like really strange and raw and kind of weird and tense in a way. But if you want to look that one up, it's called The Incident.
I'll check that
About
out.
all these people trapped on a subway train, and Martin Sheen and Joe Frone, and they're these like hoodlum guys, and they terrorize everyone on this subway train that they can't get off the train, so you know, they just make a whole bunch
Sounds
of
interesting.
Did I miss the party?
Anyway,
No, he just got disconnected real quick.
Okay, good. I just woke up, that's why I wasn't in here earlier.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about movies and all that.
Cool.
A nice movie was Dracula. Old fan. You have it on a t-shirt.
Yep, this is of the comic book version, though.
Oh, I just got kicked out of the room and it put me on some sports thing or something. What the fuck is that?
That's weird.
That is indeed weird.
Well, Tiny Chat is weird. Hey, wayward guy. Had to work late or something?
Actually, I just woke up. That's why I didn't come in earlier.
Lame ass pussy shit.
I'm sorry, my sleep schedule is completely upside down right now.
Yeah, that's right, because you're playing video games all day.
No, lies. Lies.
Yeah, we know the story. Bodie.
Fix it.
I went to, actually, somebody, I had my old version of Tomb Raider and I put it on my computer and I couldn't quite get to run on the one computer. But once I got to run, I couldn't get the damn somebody sent me a controller, USB one, I couldn't get that to work with it. But anyway, but the resolution sucked and I was like, why the fuck, I couldn't get it was like really low resolution, it really sucked. So I was like, damn, this is all pixelated and shit, and it wouldn't let me fucking raise it anywhere. Well, anyway, it just really pissed me off because I'm like saying, damn, I'll have to put it on the other computer. And then the disc they gave me with it doesn't seem to have anything on it. Like there's no, I'm just thinking maybe somebody sent me the game controller just to ruin my computer, because I'm saying the disc that comes with it didn't have any drivers on it. Like, what the fuck?
Well, you probably got a version that's not optimized to work on your computer. What a lot of people will do is they buy like a modern, like sort of an updated version, I guess, off of Steam or something, and it runs in a DOS box, and it's more optimized to work on your computer.
Yeah, well,
Usually,
I have that, it does run in DOS, and I had to re-mess with it to get to actually run inside Windows in the DOS, but I'm saying, well, maybe I have to just do it outside of Windows and run it on DOS without Windows loading, but it won't do that. So it is meant to run from Windows, but, well, whatever. It's just, whatever the configuration, it doesn't like the video card or something, I guess it doesn't recognize it or something, I don't know what it's doing, but it's just reverting to like the shittiest resolution. I mean, I had it on my other computer, so I should be able to get it to work on one of these fucking computers. But it was funny, I did actually, out of desperation, say maybe I'll play a video game. And I felt...
What?
I don't even want to go...
What game? What?
So just be a waste...
Shooters? Are you into shooters?
No, he's playing Tomb Raider.
Just Tomb Raider. I used to play...
Oh.
I like Tomb Raider. Very soothing.
Actually, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that last night I braked a faulty USB that just basically never wanted to play again. I mean, it was so fucked up that I had to break it.
Yeah, I haven't had a USB controller, so it's like I wanted to use it for something just because it's got so many buttons. I mean, it's got 2 joysticks, and it's got buttons over here, and it's got buttons over here. It's buttons everywhere. So it is nice.
Yeah, you can use it as a remote and control everything around you in the house.
Yeah, well, I was thinking if I could use it as a mouse, maybe it'd make a good mouse. But anyway, I have to get to work. I have to get a game to run, and then it can work. But whatever I have to do something.
Try to install a generic driver. I don't know.
Yeah, like it should be able to find. It just doesn't even seem to have a name on it. It's just weird the way the guy sent it. It didn't have any packaging. It just had a CD. It's got some little sticker on the back that I can't read. But it's like it's got no markings on it. I mean, why would some company make something where they don't even put their name? I mean, their name isn't on the plastic anywhere. There's no ID whatsoever. There's even a little blank spot for an ID, and there's no ID. There's no serial. There's no model number. Nothing.
Usually they come with built-in drivers and all that and install themselves, like this one here. I mean, it works great though.
Yeah, I guess the version I have of Tomb Raider might be before USB, game controllers. I'm just saying, it's an old version, so it probably just isn't running on, it's like a really old version of Tomb Raider, so it's made for computers that have,
Yeah, some games you can't. They're not. They don't have the option where you can run it on game pads and stuff like that.
Yeah, it could find it if it was on a sound card. It just can't find a game controller that's not on a sound card. It's that kind of thing. But whatever.
But there is a few programs that you can, you can link your buttons on your controller to keys on your keyboard, and you can play games and stuff that way.
Yeah, well, that's what I was assuming the drivers would do, would give me the ability to do something like that, so I could just modify the...
Well, you have to have a separate program to do that. I mean, if the driver on the controller, if it doesn't pick it up or anything, then it won't work.
I know, I'm just saying that, whether you call it a driver or you call it extra software, I'm just saying it's like anything that reassigns functions, it has to recognize it first to be able to do that, so... It did recognize.
No, before
recognizes the game.
Before reassigning, you need to check it. To check it in the device manager to make it work,
Right. Well, like I said, it was getting recognized by control panel, so it was in control panel, but it wasn't. Like I said, I don't think the game can find it that way.
Yeah, it's probably the game can't play game pads or stuff like that.
Right, so you have to make it a simulator for a keyboard or something else to make it work.
Yeah. There's a couple of free programs that can do that. I had to do that for a couple of games on my computer, and it worked all right. It doesn't work for the analog sticks.
Well, I have another one, so I'll just try the other version of Tomb Raider I have, and that'll probably work.
Yeah.
Is it the newer version?
I'm a curse, Gary. I come in here and we start talking about video games.
It's okay. It's my fault.
With that, I think I'll be back. I need a smoke.
Yeah, it is relaxing, I have to say that, for video games. They do take you away from it all. So, old fan, you've been working all night. Just working and working and working.
I love them racing simulators. Those are my favorite.
And she made a piece of grass. All that work for a piece of grass.
I've been working all night, and somehow I'm still so fucking behind. But it's taken forever. I had to make these big circles out of some of these pieces, and it took forever to gouge out. So, I'm so behind.
Well, you inspired me to work on some of my yarn crafts over here, so I'm pulling out some of my stuff.
Oh, whatever, yarn crafts. Jesus.
Cool.
Oh, no, it isn't cool. It's totally not cool. Yarn crafts. Come on, that's not cool. That is the opposite of cool. Look, she's wearing safety goggles. She has safety goggles. The yarn might attack.
Make some hats or a sweater or something.
Ugh.
To be fair, I can't do a thing with that kind of stuff. Nothing. I can't knit or anything.
Yeah, well, you don't want to. I can, and I know how absolutely useless it is. So, yeah, don't go there.
Well, if you ain't got no clothes or a hat for the cold weather, then it might be useful, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty much useless.
Well, it's still not useful. It's this preposterous waste of fucking oxygen. Do you know how many hours it takes to make a hat? Go crochet a hat. See how long it takes you.
The one thing I am sort of vaguely tempted to learn as far as fiber arts go is they do have a ton of looms here, and like maybe I'll do some looming, but I doubt it.
Yeah, well, looms are at least interesting. I mean, it's still a lot of work, but the great thing is now is you got these mechanical ones,
Looming is
like
way
where you
more fun
program
than
them.
knitting.
You know, where you program them to change, colors and change, and so it's like you can put a picture in, like a digital picture, and the loom will make it, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's more like a 3D printer or something like that.
Yeah, I just mean that, you can create, you can do some pretty good artwork, and have a loom, just manufacture it, which is pretty cool.
I should find out if we have some of those here, actually. That'd be cool.
It's way more fun than regular knitting, that's for sure.
Oh, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's not fun at all. It's nonsense. I made one of those stupid rugs once. You poke the stupid shit through the damn thing and make a rug, and it was like fucking forever. It took forever.
Just another way to waste time, I guess.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, no, there's better ways to waste time, trust me. A lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
Polishing rocks. I mean, there's a lot of things. Just, you could find a lot better ways to waste time than fucking playing with yarn. Yarn is evil.
Oh, that's it. I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets can't fill it up.
I have my banning powers back, so you don't want to be testing me, fucker. So let's see what else is news. Yeah, well, cats and computers don't mix very well, it's true. Cats and yarn, cats and anything. Cats and work. Cats are for sleeping and feeding and petting, and that's it.
My cat ruined the 0 key on my keyboard. Now I can't use it.
Yeah, see? Well, you could probably fix it, but keyboards on laptops are really funky. Oh, ow, we fell asleep. Alright, one more cup of coffee and then I'm out of here.
I think I will play the last Call of Duty, and I have to finish it.
People still play Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Jeez. Seems like more people are playing like Battlefield 4 or something like that.
Whatever.
No, you have to. You have to pay for the fucking multiplayer.
True.
Yeah, I hate multiplayer games. Anyway, yeah, pretty much hate them.
I mean, I have shooter, um, Operation Blackout. You know, I played that from time to time just to kill my brain. With
Yeah, well, I haven't done any multiplayer shit in a long time, but I remember it was just too many cheaters. You know, these people have all these cheat codes, and it's like, fuck this. You know, what's the fucking point playing a game where a bunch of guys are cheating?
Yeah,
Seems
definitely.
like a lot of people just like to troll and grief people more than anything.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I go to those rooms, you know, when it's the rooms that are not too crowdy, you know, so I can, even if he cheats, I can still shoot him. That is fun.
The other night I came to TinyChat because I was bored, and so I was trying to find somebody with a brain, and there was one chat that it said it was for intelligent people. I must have the worst luck because when I went in there, they were congratulating some woman on being pregnant.
Whoa. Eek. Oof. Glad I missed
That's
that.
intelligent.
Yeah, the only room.
I learned my lesson. I'm sticking around here.
The only chat. I went to a couple of rooms, and all there was a bunch of black guys telling women to, let me see your boobies. Show me boobies. It's like, man, they just do this all night. They just sit there and say, show me your boobies all night. It's like, what the
Pretty
fuck?
much.
About booby?
Yeah.
No,
There's
they
a bunch
have
of,
another secret. 360. Do a 360. Do a 360 now.
there's a lot of Asian chats too, and I get kicked out of those because I'm not Asian enough apparently.
Well, that's discrimination, damn it.
You see retarded ones like Thug Life and all that.
Yeah, I suppose I should do some more looking around, but yeah, every time you look, you're just like, oh, fuck, humans suck. Kill them. Kill them.
Yeah, it's really depressing. I mean, half the time, well, if it's not a sex chat or something, they're literally just sitting there staring at the screen, not saying anything. Like, nobody is saying anything.
What, you mean like this?
It isn't quite as bad.
I went to about like 20 or 30, rooms and all that, and like 95% of them, they're just all like that, for like hours. And I was like, really? Like, what's the point?
I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
and then you'll have that one guy, like you go into a room and you'll have that one guy that's like talking a bunch of shit. And he's like, hey, what's up, man? What you doing? Yeah, TinyChat's kind of abysmal. That's why I don't go into any of the other rooms.
Yeah, it is just sort of annoying that you'd sort of expect there to be a little bit more of this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm just surprised that intellectuals haven't figured out how to use the internet very effectively, you know. I mean, there's just nothing. There's just like some debate site, I don't know what it's called.
Well, I think they either use blogs, forums, or they have like Hate Club, for instance. They have like their own little closed-off group where they all,
Yeah, I just, to me, that's just sort of lame, right? I mean, it's just, I mean,
yeah,
it
it is.
be able to use the broader medium and you make something more effective out of it. It just seems like they don't. It's all just assholes everywhere. I'm just surprised. Like I said, I just expected there to be. I mean, I expected 6 years into this thing. Seems to me there was more hope, intelligent conversation 6 years ago on YouTube than there is now.
I gave up on YouTube completely.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, you can't. I mean, there's no point. You gotta just do something. But yeah, it's just. I mean, oh, whatever. I'm just saying, it just seems weird to me that there's not more. Even
Um, so when I was gone, did anything happen? Like, did anyone show up? Any good conversations?
well, I was funny earlier, right? I think I was funny earlier. Yeah. And so yeah, for the first 3 hours, I was pretty funny. And then there was some lame people and whatnot, but I was pretty good even through the lame people. I survived. And yeah, but no, there really wasn't. You know, it's kind of a mixed night, but it was okay-ish. I mean, there was some good conversation. I had to yell at a few people, of course.
Yeah, I was gone, and I came back, and then you were yelling at that Jew, and I was just like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. What did I fight? Yeah, I fight. Oh, the OJ thing. Yeah, he kept making excuses for the. Oh, yeah, the lawyers did it. Well, they won the case. Yeah, idiot. But yeah, there was a lot of dumb fuckers. I don't know. It seemed like an okay night, though, right? I mean, it didn't seem. It was not a bad night, right? It was pretty good, right? Things moved
Yeah,
along.
it was good.
Yeah. So I wasn't in a very good mood, and I found it tolerable. So it can't be that bad. I mean, I'm still in this, I'm in this phase where I just got to get more focused on what my mission statement. I gotta get more focused. My making everything more valuable. Better.
Yeah, I did like it. I like the idea. You brought this up a few times, but I did like the idea of having multiple hosts. I guess you just have to find the right person to do it, and they can host it like maybe different nights.
Well, that would be great. If we could have like a standing room. Just somehow, not like even keeping it 24/7, but just the idea of having, eventually. But I just mean just the idea that having a room that's always going would be really an interesting concept. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you're saying, 7 billion people on planet Earth, and fuck, just get, got a handful of them, that are interested in anything intelligent, and only a handful of those have the time or wherewithal to do anything with it.
Everyone's too busy fulfilling their hedonistic desires.
I suppose.
At least here in the West.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it. I mean, in terms of how much time you spend at something, I mean, this week I took off sort of like, I think I only did like 5 or 6 videos this week, 5 videos maybe, something like that. It's like the lowest number in a long time. I don't think I made a video for 2 days, which I don't think I've gone 2 days without making a video in